Solskjaer, Ralph Hasenhüttl, Sean Dyche, Roy Hodgson, Chris Hughton and Jan Sievert ahead of all this afternoon's 3 o'clock UK kickoff times. Let's start at the Amex Stadium. 7 games without a win for Chris Hughton's Seagulls. They're dropping like stones. They're only just outside the relegation zone, 2 points clear only against Huddersfield, who won for the first time under Jan Sievert against Wolves, but it looks too little too late for them. They're still 13 points adrift of safety. Watching this one for us from the Amex Stadium is Martin Hopkins.
The Seagulls haven't won in 7 and are down to 16th in the Premier League, having lost 5 out of the last 6 games. Boss Chris Hughton makes 3 changes to the side that lost at Leicester during the week. Coming into the starting 11, Bissouma, Yachenbach and Bernardo dropping out. Solly March and Guyton Bong dropped to the bench, and Pascal Gross is absent through injury. Opponents Huddersfield won for the first time in 15 games in midweek, and boss Jan Sievert makes 1 change to the side that beat Wolves. Juninho Bacuna comes into the side at right back, with D'Amico Dehaney dropping out through injury. It's Brighton versus Huddersfield on Premier League Live.
Well, Burnley lost their 8-game unbeaten run at Newcastle in the week by 2 goals to 0. They're 15th at the moment, 5 points clear of the relegation zone. Same as Crystal Palace, who are just 1 place above them in the table, and they visit Turf Moor today. Paul Shabakovic will have his eyes on this one.
Burnley take on Crystal Palace at Turf Moor, with both sides starting the game on 30 points this afternoon. Burnley make 1 change from the side that lost to Newcastle in midweek, with Goodmanson replaced by Westwood. Burnley are unbeaten in their last 5 home games. As for Crystal Palace, they make 5 changes from the side that lost to Manchester United in midweek, with Gaeta, Kelly, Ward, MacArthur and Townsend replaced by Hennessy, Wan-Bissaka, Dan, Meyer and Kouyaté.
Well, Manchester United certainly have some eyes on Paris Saint-Germain next week, 2-0 down as they look to progress into the Champions League latter stages, and also as a chance for a top 4 finish. That's definitely on the agenda for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They're at home against Southampton today, who climbed out of the relegation zone with a big win against Fulham in midweek. Matt Davis-Adams at Old Trafford.
A win for Manchester United will take them back into the top 4. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still without Mata, Matic, Martial, Lingard and Jones, but Marcus Rashford is fit enough to start. He and Andreas Pereira replaced Dalot and Fred in the 2 changes from their win at Crystal Palace. Danny Ings still out with a hamstring injury for Southampton, who named the same team that started their midweek win against Fulham. Saints have lost just 1 of their last 5 away games.
Well, Wolverhampton Wanderers are still best of the rest in 7th, but they haven't won in 3 games. They're taking on Cardiff, who were back in the relegation zone. They were terrible against Everton, it has to be said, in midweek. Johnny Bryan is at Molineux.
It's 6 changes for Wolves as they welcome Cardiff to Molineux. John Ruddy makes his first start of the season in goal for the hosts as he prepares for the FA Cup quarter-final in 2 weeks' time. And there are also starts for Traore, Saiss, Dendoncker, Vinagre and Gibbs-White in midfield. Cardiff, who briefly left the relegation zone last week, are back in it thanks to heavy defeats to Watford and Everton. They welcome back Victor Camarasa after a calf problem and Umar Niasse after being ineligible in midweek. Cardiff seek to get out of the bottom 3, and Wolves look to beat their all-time Premier League points tally. An intriguing battle ahead at Molineux.
All those games live individually via our various global partners and goals as they go in right here on Premier League Live. Franny Benali alongside me today for our commentary on this afternoon's main game, Bournemouth against Manchester City. But of course, Franny, a Southampton legend, so we'll get a quick word with you now, Franny, about your old club. Huge win against Fulham, wasn't it? Out of the bottom 3 now. Are you confident in Ralph Hasenhüttl?
I've always been confident, Dan. Yeah, since he come in and replaced Mark Hughes. I was saying to somebody the other day, you just watch him from a distance, and you watch him in his interviews as well, and listen to him and how he speaks. There's a bit of a presence around him on the touchline in the technical area, isn't there? And you see that on the training ground as well. He's got a little bit of an aura, which I think the top managers need and quite often do have nowadays. And we've seen that little shift. There was, was a big decision for the club. Sort of Mark Hughes did extremely well last season keeping Southampton up. Unfortunately, the club still find themselves in that relegation battle at this moment, and it's still going to be a scrap and a fight for sure. But as you just mentioned, what a huge victory! 3 points for Southampton over Fulham, which pretty much sealed their fate, I would say. So you're probably looking at the table now and thinking it's probably Huddersfield and Fulham, and probably one other from anyone up to somebody like Crystal Palace in 14th on 30 points. So I'm sure there's going to be lots of twists and turns between now and then. The game against Manchester United today for Southampton is obviously going to be a sterner test than what it was against Fulham, but I guess anything from today's game would be a bonus.
And fingers crossed that they'll stay up for you, Franny. Obviously. They will. See, he's confident. Ladies and gents, I can see it in his eyes. His confidence. Foregone conclusion. Southampton staying up. Franny is part of our commentary team for Bournemouth against Manchester City. We are 10 minutes away from kick-off at the Vitality Stadium. So time to hear from both managers now, Eddie Howe and Pep Guardiola.
Goals against columns been a problem for us probably since December. We've been frustrated because some games we've looked really good defensively. There's been a few clean sheets in there where you think we've been very strong. So we can do it. We can definitely perform well as a defensive unit, as a team. There's been some outstanding performances that I can reflect on, but there's also times where if we're under par, we've conceded groups of goals together, which is never a good sign.
I don't have theories about that. I'm supporting the idea. The reason why we won, we can control all the situations, and the guys who know it for a long time, it's worse. So I don't believe it. Every situation is completely different. Every season is completely different. So what you have to do is game by game, no competitions, and we'll see how far we arrive.
Let's put Arsenal to bed in our minds. I think there's no good reflecting on that. I think the games are too close together. Try to move on very quickly, although learn the lessons from a painful defeat. We very much have to focus on Man City now, and because if you don't give all your energy to the preparation and size of task in this game, it becomes even more difficult. So we've got limited preparation time, but we'll be ready for a tough game.
We are in a position with 30 points to play, 10 games left, 1 point below to Liverpool, so many things are going to happen. There's nothing too much about tomorrow is the end of the world, and if we win it's perfect, if we lose there's going to be disaster. Anything is going to happen until the end. So Champions League is around the corner, we have the cup, so many games, so don't think too much.
There's a problem with our consistency. We've got some players here, we've got unbelievable attitude, some of the best attitudes I've ever worked with as a group. I'd say we've got no problem with our professionalism and conduct from that side of it, but there's been an issue this season with the consistency of our performances, which we can only put down to the mental side of the game. Now, probably bar the top 6 clubs, I'd say every other club will be frustrated with themselves at some point during the season with that same issue. So it's something we have to fix to become the team that is chasing the big guns. That's what we ultimately want to be. Then we have to fix that.
Bournemouth at home is a completely different team when we play away. So home is always tough, but they know the stadium perfectly. They beat not long time ago Chelsea 4-0, defending incredible well, using the counter-attack in the spaces incredible. So that is when I am concerned, not about the future going to happen, about the pressure, about that is no sense, because nobody knows, even the big pundits, so nobody knows.
Pep Guardiola and Eddie Howe talking ahead of the game this afternoon at the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth against Manchester City. City have the incentive, of course, to go 2 points clear of Liverpool at the top of the Premier League table. The defending champions can pile all the psychological pressure back on Jurgen Klopp's side. They play Everton, of course, tomorrow afternoon, 4:15 UK kickoff time. That is live here on Premier League Live. It's normally a very happy hunting ground for Manchester City, the Vitality Stadium. They have won their last 3 visits here. They've scored 8 goals. They've only conceded once. They've won all 7 Premier League meetings that have been between these two sides. So there can't possibly be an upset. Can there? It's coming up next.
Premier League preview show with Talk Sport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh, it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
Talk Sport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Joining us on the preview show, the former Arsenal striker and most stylish man in football, Jeremy Aliadier. I didn't want him here, but he's turned up anyway. Here's the former Chelsea man, Clive Walker.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Kane now on his left foot, bends the shot, what a goal from Harry Kane! MBE! Stunning finish with his left foot into the top corner. It's wonderful from Spurs. It's magnificent from Harry Kane. No wonder the Queen wanted to bestow an honour upon him. What a goal to celebrate.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Salah's readying himself to take this one. Van Dijk's there. Lovren's there. Fabinho's there to open his account for Liverpool. And just as City go 2-1 down at Leicester, Liverpool stamp their authority at Anfield. Yet more. Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0. Title challenge on. Are they now the favourites?
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Aubameyang through to Torreira inside the area. Torreira scores! And surely now, North London is red again. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2.
Here's Maddison for Leicester. Vardy chance! Vardy goal! Leicester City, out of nowhere, have got the lead. Jamie Vardy, who's been virtually anonymous this afternoon, isn't anymore. Wonderful finish by Vardy, and it's Chelsea 0, Leicester City 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the ultimate football fan tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor.
This is Premier League Live.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Bournemouth against Manchester City from the Vitality Stadium. I'm your host, Dan Wheeler. Alongside me is the former Southampton defender, Francis Benali. This is Premier League Live, and these are the two sides. Bournemouth make two changes from the side that were thrashed at Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium in the week. David Brooks, the talented young Welsh midfielder, he starts, and Jack Simpson makes the only second Premier League appearance of his career. His first one was against Manchester City as well. Otherwise, it's as you were. So they will line up with Artur Boruc in goal, Nathaniel Klein, Chris Mepham, Nathan Ake and Adam Smith as their back four. Simpson will sit just in front of them as a defensive midfielder. Charlie Daniels, Andrew Sermon, David Brooks and Ryan Fraser are the midfield from left to right, and Josh King is their main striker. Four changes for Manchester City today from the side that squeezed past West Ham 1-0 at London Stadium in the week, thanks to a slightly soft penalty to say the least. Kyle Walker and John Stones are back in defence, with Bernardo Silva and Raheem Sterling, the two men who really changed the game from the bench in East London. They also start. Riyad Mahrez and Leroy Sane, Danilo and company make way. The players dropping out of the Bournemouth side, incidentally, Ibe and Gosling. The Manchester City team, Ederson is the goalkeeper, Walker, Stones, Otamendi and Zinchenko the back four, De Bruyne, Gundogan and David Silva the three in midfield, with Bernardo Silva and Raheem Sterling either side of Sergio Aguero. The two benches for Bournemouth are Gosling, Mousse, Ibe, Rico, Begovic the keeper, Taylor and Sturridge. For City, it's Danilo, Kompany, Sane, Mahrez, Gabriel Jesus, who's now back fit, Phil Foden, and their reserve keeper, Aaron Yanet Muric. The referee this afternoon is Kevin Friend from Bristol. He has shown 66 yellow cards, 2 red cards this season, and both these sides beware, or both defences beware, I suppose, is more specific. 8 penalty kicks he's awarded today, which is the second most in the Premier League. It's just a shade over 250 miles between the Etihad Stadium and here on the south coast at the Vitality Stadium, but it's a trip that Manchester City have very much enjoyed. 3 visits here, 3 wins, 8 goals scored and only 1 goal conceded, and if they can make that 4 wins out of 4, they will go back top of the table and pile all the pressure back on Liverpool ahead of their Merseyside derby with Everton tomorrow. John Stones is in possession for Manchester City in their sky blue shirts with white shorts and white socks, kicking from left to right in this first period. Bournemouth, of course, in their familiar home strip of black and red stripes with black shorts and black socks. Stones picks it up from Zinchenko and finds Kyle Walker with his ball out to the right hand side. Does eventually find Bernardo Silva, touches it forward to Kevin De Bruyne, through the legs, but Ryan Fraser is there. I think he's shoved over by Kyle Walker. He is. That will be a free kick to Bournemouth and a chance for Franny Benali to give us his very, very early thoughts.
Well, yeah, you expect Eddie Howe to be sending his team out. They would have worked on things on the training ground after that last heavy defeat against Arsenal, and they'd be saying, look, you've got to stay in the game, guys. Do not concede an early goal. So keep things tight, try and frustrate City, and you're going to expect City to have a lot of the ball, I'm sure, but you know, they'll just hopefully work themselves into the game, get some confidence. We've seen how good they are on the counter-attack as well, and yeah, they'll just look to work themselves into this game.
Yeah, they won 25 of their 34 points at home, Bournemouth, which is very nearly 75% of what they've done all season. Unbeaten in the last 5 games here, 3 of those were wins. It's very different to how they perform on the road, where they've lost the last 9 in a row. Manchester City, of course, are in tremendous form. 8 wins in the last 9. They've won the last 4 without conceding. They've won the last 7 in a row in all competitions. It's fairly intimidating stuff as Raheem Sterling finds Zinchenko, who attempts to cross it in from the far left-hand side, but he's got far too much on that Alexander Zinchenko, and it's gone miles over the bar. The 22-year-old Ukraine international set a record with that win at West Ham. He has now won all 13 Premier League games he's played in. That's the longest run in Premier League history for players at the very start of their careers. But if you're going to do it with anyone, it's best and most likely to do it with Manchester City, of course. That's exactly what he's done. Out onto the right hand side, 3rd minute here at the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth getting a chance to come forward, but it doesn't last long. Nathaniel Klein dispossessed, and it's cleared away into touch eventually by Nicolas Otamendi, and that will be a throw to Southampton. Still no Callum Wilson in the Cherries lineup. He's missed the last 5 games with a knee problem, but he's getting closer and closer. He was taking part in training this week, and Eddie Howe admitting it would have been a late call, but obviously not quite 100% ready, as Nathan Ake's ball towards Fraser is intercepted by the chest of John Stones, and City can build again with Otamendi. He's got loads of room. He's taken it unchallenged from the edge of his own penalty area to beyond the halfway line, and Raheem Sterling has felt the full force of that tackle from Chris Mepham. And that'll be a free kick to Manchester City and a talking to for Mepham from referee Kevin Friend.
Yeah, it was most definitely a foul, wasn't it? Kevin Friend given the correct decision. Mepham, I guess what didn't help him was the fact that he slid into the challenge. You know, he's left. Anytime you sort of come off your feet and you're sliding in with either 1 or 2 feet, you know you're going to be in trouble. And Kevin Friend's having a bit of a stern word with him, almost making it clear right from the start that he's not going to accept that kind of challenge throughout the game. But Raheem Sterling seems to be fine. He's back on his feet. No serious injury done.
£12 million signing from Brentford in the summer. The Wales midfielder made his 50th career appearance against Liverpool a few weeks ago, and he's avoided a yellow card there. So Aguero on the edge of the area, and the shot ricochets off Nathan Ake behind for the first corner.
Again, it just shows Aguero's sort of mindset, doesn't it? You know, he's picked up the knockdown, edge of the box, he's just taken a touch. Even with a load of bodies in front of him, he's got one thing in mind, and that's get a shot at target.
You can't even afford to blink when you're a defender around Sergio Aguero, can you?
You can't, not for 1 second. You've constantly got to be concentrating.
De Bruyne with the corner, and the free header from Otamendi. Kyle Walker, actually. Well, it was Nicolas Otamendi. My instincts were correct. From just beyond the 6-yard box. He wants a corner. He's pretty sure that took a little nick off Jack Simpson, who was coming into cover, but the officials say otherwise, and Bournemouth get the goal kick. They waste it with a long punt downfield, so no one in particular except Otamendi, who tides it back to Ederson. Moved out to the right hand side, and Kyle Walker finds Kevin De Bruyne, who's struggled so much with injury this season after he was so epic last term for City. Cleared away for a throw to Manchester City by Nathaniel Klein, because Sterling was lurking just behind him. City taken immediately.
What we see, Dan, is Bournemouth almost dropping into a 4-5-1. You know, we've got Josh King up front on his own, but it's important that when they do win possession of the ball, they try and release Charlie Daniels, release Ryan Fraser. David Brooks will naturally try to get forward and join the attack, but they just can't sit too deep too often for too long.
Otamendi finds Sterling, who's popped up on the left-hand side. 1-2 with David Silva. And which way is that going to go? It's going to go goal kick. Both players appealing for the set piece, be it a goal kick or a corner, but it's gone Bournemouth's way. 7 minutes have elapsed here at the Vitality Stadium. Still waiting for our first moment of excitement here. Won all 7 meetings in the Premier League with Manchester City. They scored 23 goals, only conceded 3. And Bournemouth have failed to take a single point off Manchester City. They're the only club that Bournemouth have played against that they failed to take a single point. Can they break that duck today? Liverpool fans as well as Cherry supporters will certainly hope so. Bernardo Silva finds Kevin De Bruyne, square to Otamendi inside the centre circle, back out to Kevin De Bruyne, middle of the Bournemouth half. Working it patiently as ever to Raheem Sterling, point of the penalty area, little shuffled ball through to David Silva. It didn't quite work, and Charlie Brooks helps shepherd it away on that far side.
It's a clever little run from Raheem Sterling. Started on the touchline, Dan. Great little ball into him, but he made that little run, sharp run inside Nathaniel Klein. Klein's just got to make sure he stays, don't get too tight to him, otherwise Sterling will make those little bursts in behind, and as we know with City, they've got the quality to pick that pass.
No doubt with this guy as well, David Silva. His options were momentarily cut off by 3 red and black striped shirts around him, but they've worked it well in a tight area. Zinchenko finding Otamendi, now Kyle Walker stepping off his right hand touchline, fall back and into a central position. He wants a foul there, possibly a handball as he tried to spray that ball back across field. Referee happy to let play go on. Stones finds Aguero.
City happy with possession of the football, but you know, other than maybe a half chance, Otamendi's header from the, I don't think Boric has been tested in any shape or form just yet, has he?
No, not yet. City have, as you would inevitably think, have bossed possession, and they've swarmed around the edge of the Bournemouth penalty area, but as yet no real alarm for the Cherries. They're quite happy to let City have the ball and play in front of them, as they are again now on halfway. Otamendi, Zinchenko is energetic on that left hand side, and he's found ball in field to Gundogan, back to the fair-haired Zinchenko. He'll stab it out to Walker, first time ball back to De Bruyne. This is where City just try and wear you down, isn't it? And then a killer pass forward to Aguero, offside. It's a save in the end by Boric, but that's classic City, isn't it, Franny? Pass, boom, killer ball over the top, but Aguero just went too early. It's tight.
It is tight, but I think it's probably very tight indeed, but it's probably the right call. But what clever play from Aguero. You know, you said earlier in the commentary, Dan, you can't switch off for a split second, and that is a classic example. He pulled in between the two centre halves, and he just makes that little run, and City do where they pass. If there's a split second where anyone switches off or they're not communicating, that's then when they can break through.
I mean, I know he's playing in a brilliant side with brilliant players around him, but I mean, if I was picking a World 11, I got slightly scoffed at yesterday when I told my mate about this. I'd have Aguero as my striker, and I've got a slightly withering look.
Really? Who does he support?
Liverpool.
Oh, there you go.
Here's Zinchenko. It's a great ball towards Aguero, and Nathan Ake was there, and it was a very telling interception by the defender. It had to be. He's nodded it behind for a corner.
Good defender from Ake. Not much else he could do there. Good ball into the far post. City playing a short corner.
They've
made a mess of it though.
Yeah, they have. That was rare. And Kyle Walker has passed towards. Knocked it into the heart of the penalty area, but De Bruyne was slightly on his heels. I think he might have been expecting something slightly squarer, or a lot more square, really. But they almost do it again, City, as saved in the end by Bernardo Silva right on the right-hand touchline. Well, here's Stones on halfway, as the Sunshine tries to break through here on the south coast. Here's Sterling now, will charge off the left-hand flank towards the point of the penalty area, and he's got a ricochet that has come off a Bournemouth boot last. Boric is trying to kill a few seconds by a bit of play acting there, thinking it's a goal kick, but it's going to go out for a set piece. It's another Manchester City corner.
Real positive play from Sterling. Changed the tempo, changed the pace. As soon as he picked it up, drove at Nathaniel Klein, caused Bournemouth problems.
Corner taken by De Bruyne, and the header down. I think it came off the back of Gundogan's head, and it was in a decent position, the German. He was just inside the 6-yard box. Well, has it flicked off him and then come off Ake last? I think it has. And whether that's brilliant defending from Ake to nod it straight to his goalkeeper, because it was coming at a fair rate of knots to Artur Boric. I think, to be honest, that's probably a bit of luck for Bournemouth there.
I'd agree, Dan. Yeah, I don't think there was too much that Nathan Ake knew about that. There was a couple of players in front of him, and the ball was whipped in, and I think he was almost just trying to avoid it in some ways, but grateful to see it just sort of drop into Artur Boric's hands.
Here we go then for Bournemouth. Here's a chance maybe. They've got a throw level with the edge of the City penalty area, but they go all the way back to the halfway line, and then there's a bit of twisting and turning from Chris Mepham.
Good pressing from City. As soon as Bournemouth played that throw in back towards their defenders, the team pushed up, they pressed, playing high, putting them under pressure. Bournemouth had no option but to almost play a hopeful ball up towards Josh King, and he's had very little, if any, service so far.
Here is Otamendi on halfway, as Bournemouth continue to leave big pockets of space in front of whichever Manchester City player has the ball at his feet. Kyle Walker back to the halfway, and John Stones. Here comes John Stones forward. Still they back off to Aguero. Little touch square from him, picked up by De Bruyne. He was fastest to it. Now Sterling. Zinchenko makes the overlapping run. Sterling comes infield. David Silva comes in to take it off him. Stones back out to the right hand side. Walker to Bernardo Silva. Away from Ryan Fraser. Square to Otamendi. Now Zinchenko. Level with the edge of the Bournemouth penalty area. Otamendi Gundogan is square. Josh King is in the way though, so he goes back to Zinchenko. Now right-footed from the Ukrainian. Not the greatest of clearances away from Mepham, but it was effective. Flicked back towards the edge of the box by Bernardo Silva. Not away by Ake. Gundogan, 15 minutes gone, 0-0. Killed in by Gundogan to Aguero. Takes it in his stride and then just can't pull the trigger. Bournemouth clearing away at the last moment. The pressure is just building with every passing pass, really, Franny.
It's relentless, isn't it? You know, they're just pass after pass. Even when Bournemouth managed to half clear it a little bit, it just still drops at a City player's feet. And they're just so good at it, aren't they? They're just patient, pass forward, the occasional pass forward, sideways, keeping possession, waiting for that opportunity to make the killer pass.
De Bruyne, that's a decent ball to Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side, trying to cut in back towards goal. Sweat first time by De Bruyne. It's just dipped obligingly for Artur Boruc in the end. Aguero was behind him, but the big Bournemouth keeper was never going to drop that. And an early cross did have Bournemouth just wondering for a split second. In possession now, the cherries on halfway. I mean, it must be really mentally draining as much as anything else when you're playing City and you haven't got the ball, because the concentration required to just keep everything in line and not be almost hypnotised by these million passes in front of you all the time.
Yeah, and you used that word earlier, Dan, you know, that wearing you down. It's not necessarily physically, because you may not be moving your position within the shape and formation an awful lot, but it's that concentration level as well, and that's what City is so good at. You know, they keep the ball. It's so much easier when you're playing with the ball than without it, because you're physically getting tired to a degree, albeit maybe not massively, but it's that mental concentration, and that's when they catch you out.
Boruc with the ball at his feet just outside his D, to the right hand flank looking for Josh King, but Zinchenko is there just to tidy it for the deft little header back to Ederson, who releases Gundogan through the centre circle. De Bruyne to the right, Walker hits the gas and offers the run ahead of him. Bernardo Silva out on the right, lovely little play from him, pass one. Back still with Bernardo Silva, dink towards the far post looking for Aguero, headed away by Chris Mepham, only as far as Zinchenko. Gundogan in support, back to Zinchenko and Otamendi. 18 minutes gone, it must feel like 80 for Bournemouth. The concentration they've had to use just to keep all the gaps closed. De Bruyne, Ake goes right to him, goes square back to Walker. The pair swap passes again. Now it goes to Stones in the centre circle, to Gundogan.
What we haven't seen from City, Dan, so far, they've been putting a number of crosses in the box, haven't they, which is not really their game particularly. You know, they tend to keep the ball on the floor most times, have runners running into the box or driving at the byline. They haven't really seemed to open Bournemouth up so far, so you've got to give them credit.
Might do here. De Bruyne on the right hand side. Oh, good chance, David Silva. Really good ball from Kevin De Bruyne. Almost blind from the Belgian, but he knew that there were enough sky blue shirts in the danger area. And David Silva was in the prime position. He was on his favoured left foot as well. He stuck it wide. That's a good chance.
Oh, it's just what we're talking about. You know, rather than putting crosses into the box, De Bruyne has made that little run in behind the Bournemouth defence, getting in behind Adam Smith, cutting it back square, and you almost think your reaction is like it's going to be a goal, or it's certainly going to be a shot on target, but it possibly would have favoured maybe a more naturally right-footed player, the ball coming across. He just had to wait for the ball to roll across his body before he struck it with his left foot. But worrying signs for Bournemouth, and City is certainly getting into their groove a little bit more.
Has got 6 goals this season, David Silva, but he's only got 1 since the end of November, and he'll be cross with himself that he didn't hit the target there. It was a really good opportunity. The best one of the match so far, 20th minute here on Premier League Live, and it's still 0-0. City look to go back to the top of the Premier League table and take a 2-point advantage over Liverpool, but they're on the back foot here for the first time in a while as Bournemouth look to break, but Fraser is basically massaged off the ball by Kevin De Bruyne. Man City can go again.
Good defending from De Bruyne. That's where Bournemouth are normally dangerous, counter-attacking, breaking in numbers, breaking with pace. But on that occasion, Fraser just unable to retain possession of the ball. He's got the long trek back to get into his position.
We have got some action elsewhere in our 3 o'clock UK kickoffs. We'll get there in just a moment because City in possession, edge the penalty area now. Here's Aguero, and he and David Silva getting each other's way really. And Raheem Sterling was also there, waiting to prosper, cleared away by Nathan Ake. There's been a goal at Molineux, Wolves against Cardiff.
To Jota, Jimenez, opening chance here, and an opening goal! Diego Jota, 15 minutes inside this first half, and Wolves have opened the scoring here at Molineux.
No winning 3 for Wolves, but they're got off to a good start there at Molineux against relegation threatened Cardiff City. Crystal Palace have also taken the lead at Burnley.
Burnley penalty, and now Zaha goes for a bit of a race and he strikes it, goes across goal, and it's in the back of the net. It's an own goal from Phil Bardsley. It's an absolute disaster for Burnley, who've made the much better start.
0-0 here, but Aguero from Manchester City on the edge of the D, and he tangles with Nathan Ake, and Bournemouth get the free kick.
Bournemouth done pretty well so far. There's been 1 or 2 occasions where Aguero does, as he always does, his starting position here is in between both the defenders, Mepham and Ake, and that's where it's a problem because they're not quite sure, is it going to be him or me going to be marking him? That's where the communication comes in. So if they're not making sure who's definitely marking him, it's going to be a danger because we know what a threat he is in and around the 18-yard box.
So if they haven't sorted that out between them before kick-off, what is it? Just a shout as and when?
Yeah, during the game, very much so. It's constantly. So if Aguero drifts across maybe to the other side of where Ake might be, it's got to be communication from Chris Meckham to say, keep your shoulder open, here he comes. Just something short, sharp, basic, quick, because if you, not chapter and verse, but you need to pass the information around really early so that somebody is marking them at all times.
Stones floats one out to Zinchenko. He's got time to take it down on his chest and assess his options. Stabbed forward by David Silva, but he can't find Raheem Sterling. And now he might be able to break again here, Bournemouth, but it's a heavy touch on halfway by Ryan Fraser. And City, this is where they're so dangerous. On the back foot 1 second, and then on the front the next, as De Bruyne's shot is charged down by Ake, and it'll be cleared away by Adam Smith. David Brooks, chance to carry it over halfway, with a feel of it at his feet. 1-2 with Fraser, that's good. Past one, as he brought down by Otamendi. Referee says no. Fraser is Brooks' clearance smacks into the back of Otamendi, but it'll bounce favourably for Artur Boruc. I suppose the thing is, Otamendi, he was sliding in for a tackle on the ball that he was never going to get in a million years because the ball was miles away.
Yeah, so it was silly to dive in.
Yeah,
silly to dive in.
He may have given a free kick for that alone, really, but referee is better positioned than we are, and said no, much to Brooks' annoyance. Here he is again, though, just inside the Manchester City half, forward by Mepham, seeking out Fraser. Collects the ball ahead of Stones, needs some support. He's got it from Charlie Daniels. Back to Ryan Fraser, wide on the left, ball into the edge of the 6-yard box, away by Kyle Walker, touched calmly by Bernardo Silva, further away by Gundogan, and now De Bruyne will try and get around Nathan Ake, but Ake is too quick and too smart and slides in to concede the throw. He's had a very good first 25 minutes, Nathan Ake, hasn't he? He's been everywhere.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's got some important interceptions and final touches on balls coming into the box. And you're speaking about sort of how dangerous Aguero is, playing him in between him, and his centre half partner Chris Mepham. So yeah, he's looked solid. He's looked strong.
He's the Premier League's best blocker as well. 177 clearances he's made in the league this season. He's already been at it several times today. He's been a very effective barrier for Bournemouth on the edge of their own penalty area, because they've been made to watch City boss possession, as most teams do these days.
He can be a threat in the opposition's box as well, can't he?
Yeah,
set pieces.
Yeah, he's got 3 goals this season. couple of those came in the space of 3 days at Manchester United and Watford here. So he's already equalled his best goal scoring season so far, and they've still got 9 games to go after this one. Now is Gundogan 30 yards from goal, pressured by Josh King. Back to Raheem Sterling, level with the edge of the penalty area. Zinchenko gets involved.
You can imagine there'd be a little bit, sorry Dan, you can imagine there'd be a little bit of ribbon amongst the City players on the training ground, wouldn't there, if they're scoring that many goals, and a lot of players are scoring goals. If you're yet to get your first goal of the season, there's bound to be a little bit of banter on the training ground, isn't there?
We're trying to see in the starting line who hasn't got one this season. Quite a few. Walker hasn't, Stones hasn't.
But they're allowed, they're defenders.
Yeah. They'll still get ribbed though, won't they?
Yeah.
Here is Bernardo Silva, curls it deliciously towards David Silva, headed away. Sterling on the edge of the box, back to David Silva. It's still alive for City with David Silva just outside the penalty area now, teeing it up for Stones, who thinks about a shot maybe. Squares it to Walker, touch back to De Bruyne, along the floor, straight to Bernardo Silva into the area. Again it's blocked by Nathan Ake. And he's got time just to slalom his way out of trouble and clear it up to the halfway line, looking for Josh King to try and discomfort Stones, which he's done, but City will come back. It's going to be one of those afternoons for Josh King as well. Of course, he loves the chance to get forward and score goals. They're at home, but it's not going to be like that, is it? Forward to Sterling, but who's there again? Nathan Ake, nodding it calmly back to his goalkeeper.
Yeah, he's having a very good game back there in the heart of the Bournemouth defence. But yeah, you're right, talking about Josh King, it must be quite demoralising for a lone striker up there, mustn't it? You know, you're chasing down balls that don't always necessarily come up with the quality you would like. And being a striker as well, you know, when you're asked to be doing the defensive side of the game, almost like for the continuous sort of what we've seen, almost half an hour of the game gone, you know, you just need a little bit of sort of something to feed on, if you like, you know,
need some good
give them some hope. Yeah, exactly.
Here is Kyle Walker, just keeping it near the byline. It's not a brilliant cross, and I'm going to get tired of saying this. Nathan Ake slides in and clears it away for a corner. Yeah, I suppose King has got to, they're saying to him, sorry Josh, you're a midfielder today, or maybe a defender rather than a striker, as Bernardo Silva tries to chip it along the byline. It's blocked by Adam Smith, and another corner. Is that the 6th one for City already?
Yeah, they've had a lot. I guess it shows the possession and the, you know, haven't seen sort of like the stats for possession wise, but they've had an awful lot of the ball and 6 corners inside the first half an hour.
Half an hour gone. De Bruyne swings the corner in, still 0-0, and the acrobatics from Nicolas Otamendi is not too far away actually from the Spanish centre half. He's just ripples the back of the net, but a decent effort from Otamendi. Argentinian, not Spanish. Close, not really. 0-0 here, and there's been a goal at Old Trafford. Manchester United against Southampton.
Playing it across to Valery. Chance for Valery to shoot here from the edge of the box, which he does, and it flies into the net. Jan Valery thumps Southampton into the lead at Old Trafford.
Fair to say that's gone down well in the commentary box here. A double punch of the air from Francis Bernali.
Debut goal, I think, for the young man, Jan Valery.
Leading at United 1-0. Still 0-0 here, and very nearly 1-0 to City. De Bruyne again causing mischief, and a drilled pass low to the near post finds Aguero, but he can't turn it towards goal. I think that's another key interception by a Bournemouth defender. It is. It's Jack Simpson this time, and it's another corner, number 7 for City. De Bruyne short to walk on the edge of the penalty area, curled in and headed away, and then Aguero on the edge of the area. A volley that's gone up in the air rather than towards goal. Eventually it comes down in the back of the stand somewhere, and Bournemouth will have the free kick.
It's taken a little bit of a painful knock as well. I think Bournemouth defender didn't quite catch Daniels, it was, yeah, just sliding in to try and put Aguero off on his strike. Ball going well over the bar, just catching Aguero on the top of his foot, which he's okay, but it's just one of those painful ones, I think, especially with these boots that are like paper nowadays.
Not even like slippers, are they, these days?
No, not at all.
There's a free kick here to Manchester City that's coming together. I think Adam Smith and Ilkay Gundogan. It's gone City's way. Making his 100th Manchester City appearance today. Ilkay Gundogan. 5 goals for him this season. One better than what he managed last term. But no goals for City today. 0-0 still in the 33rd minute. But they've had, inevitably, the lion's share of possession. Stones, who like Otamendi, his centre-half, have seen so much of the ball with plenty of space in front of them in which to run. Gundogan takes it off Otamendi, square to Kyle Walker, middle of the Bournemouth half, out to Bernardo Silva, who's carrying the ball on the outside of that left boot. Support from Walker, flat pass from the England right back, nicely taken down by Zinchenko, stretching high to his left. Back to him from David Silva. Zinchenko's cross is poor, away by Andrew Sermon. Then it'll come straight back at Bournemouth. Walker out to Bernardo Silva again, tries to dummy his way past Adam Smith. That's a little bit of a kick at the Portugal international.
Trouble is when Bournemouth do clear the ball, they've only got Josh King up there, Dan, haven't they?
It's not sticking, is it?
No, it's not, and it's quite often not even going towards him. It doesn't even give him a fighting chance. He's up against Otamendi and Stones back there, at least 2 or maybe even 3 City defenders. So it's almost like you're losing the fight or losing battle when the ball does come up to you, because you're up against so many players in and around that little area of the pitch.
And trying to do this for 90 minutes is,
it's a big ask.
It is, yeah.
It's a big ask.
It's slightly unrealistic, you would imagine. But here they come, though, Bournemouth, with a rare sortie forward. Ball out towards Ryan Fraser, but City is so quick. And Kyle Walker, there aren't too many fullbacks quicker than him. And he was back to dispossess Fraser on the edge of the Manchester City box quite easily in the end. Here's De Bruyne, gets it from David Silva, now lays it forward towards Raheem Sterling, but too much heat on the pass from De Bruyne. And Boric comes out to make the comfortable save. That's what's so depressing for Bournemouth, isn't it, is when they do get a chance to come forward, it's just like an enormous net just swallows them up.
They do, they swarm round you so quick, don't they? The moment they lose possession, City, they're just immediately getting after that nearest player, getting to the ball. I think for City's purposes on that occasion, it was good that it was Kyle Walker with a player of his pace, because as we know, Ryan Fraser can be pretty sharp, pretty quick, skillful as well. It's a dangerous area of the pitch, but the home fans and the players themselves were actually expressing their disappointment to Kevin Friend that they were hopeful of getting a free kick there.
Sterling for City, laid back to him from David Silva. Nathaniel Klein makes the tackle. He wants to throw, doesn't like the fact that it's not gone Bournemouth's way. Sterling will take it, level with the edge of the penalty area. Zinchenko forced to backpedal a little bit with the force of the throw. Stones, Walker, Gundogan ahead of him, but he's gone square back to Otamendi, who's perhaps gone the closest of the lot with that acrobatic overhead kick from De Bruyne's corner 5 minutes ago that just went over the bar, dipped onto the roof of the net, but there's not been much else. Just some very good defending from Bournemouth and Nathan Ake in particular. Bernardo Silva against Adam Smith. Into the area for Walker, back to Bernardo Silva. De Bruyne sweeps it, first time looking for Aguero, and again it had to be a Bournemouth head on that first. It was Chris Mepham because Aguero was waiting, and had he not got any contact or misjudged that Mepham, Aguero was no more than a couple of yards out. You could see Aguero squatting down, almost anticipating there might be
his eyes certainly lit up, didn't they? But a wonderful header from Chris Mepham there. Not easy to try and clear the ball when the ball's being whipped in so close to your goal like that.
We've seen De Bruyne do that a number of times, whip that ball in early first time. Sterling is trying to do the same from the opposite flank this time. It's dangerous, and it's bounced loose right across goal through the 6-yard area, but out for a goal kick. 38th minute here on Premier League Live from the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 0, and despite all the pressure being heaped upon his side, Eddie Howe at the moment, but if he can keep it 0-0 at half time, he'll be very, very pleased.
He will indeed, yeah. That's got to be the goal for the team and Eddie Howe's side now, to get into the dressing room 0-0. They don't want to be conceding a late goal. They've defended really well. They've contained Man City, for a large part of this game so far. So there's just been the odd half chance here and there, but you can't say City have had a real golden opportunity to have scored. You'd maybe argue that they would probably have taken if it comes their way, but certainly Bournemouth have got to take some credit for what they've done so far.
350 passes already for City in 38 minutes. Aguero tries to take the ball down, but I think he's gone too early. He's been caught offside. Yes, he has.
And a little bit of an ironic cheer from the home supporters. Not too happy with the officials so far.
Got a replay of that. I'm not sure he was offside,
No, very much on from that.
Yeah.
What we've just seen, the replay.
Yeah. So got a bit fortunate there, Bournemouth. Need a bit of luck though against Sergio Aguero. 18 goals in the Premier League this season. Only 3 of them away from home though, interestingly.
Sometimes you need those little decisions to go your way, don't you? As silly as it is, a questionable offside decision that either goes for or against you can often be the turning point in these kind of games.
And I suppose, although they're on the back foot so much, Bournemouth, they know that every passing minute stays at 0-0. I mean, that's going to at least allow them psychologically to tick it off, isn't it? And feel slightly better about the job they're doing.
Most definitely, yeah. Give them that little hope as well, that little breakaway or a set piece they might get a bit of joy from as well.
City continue to knock though. Here's David Silva down the line to Zinchenko as he kept that in. It was very tight, and it's not gone City's way, hence the ironic cheers again from the home fans, and that will be a goal kick to Bournemouth. Just seen Pep Guardiola sit down quite hard in his seat in the technical area and exhale as he did so, deep in conversation with assistant Mikel Arteta. Won't be panicking yet, of course, Pep Guardiola. City don't panic. But
certainly didn't seem overly concerned at this point, did he?
No.
I'm sure he's thinking about what he's going to say to his team at half-time. I'm sure it'll be keep doing the same thing. We maybe need to get like an extra pass in, or maybe shift the ball a little bit quicker, because Bournemouth to this point have certainly managed to keep those gaps closed that you spoke about earlier. They're not leaving too much space and time for the City players to exploit. So maybe it's up to City just to be patient and try and shift the ball a little bit quicker and make those, look for that killer pass that will get them in.
Less than 5 minutes to go in the first half. 0-0. Here's Sterling, edge of the area. Sterling shoots, and it's just wide. But that was a weird one from Raheem Sterling, because when it left his boot I thought, oh, that's miles over, and then I saw that it dipped really quite viciously, but it was too wide in the end. But
that's the thing with these balls now, the modern football, they are so light in the material they're made of. They do swerve, they do dip. That's why you see a lot of goalkeepers opting to punch and not necessarily catch or save a shot. And again, somebody like Sterling has got the ability to sort of strike a ball in a certain way, like we see lots of players, especially from free kicks that enable the ball to move so much. So yeah, it had some dip on that one, didn't it?
Loves scoring against Bournemouth. He's done it in his last 7 appearances, including that late winner here last season, where he jumped into the crowd, had already been booked, got a second yellow card, and was subsequently sent off. Hero of the EFL Cup final, of course, in the penalty shootout against Chelsea.
I was just thinking, Dan, it must be amazing to be like a centre-half playing for a Man City. Wouldn't it? No, seriously,
because you never have to do any defending.
Well, very little against certain sides, to be honest, do you? Really, you get the pleasure of maybe going up for the odd set piece in the hope that you might score a goal, but other than almost like short, sharp bursts, you're almost like not really called into action much, other than just retaining possession and shifting the ball from side to side.
Here's Zinchenko's little deflection on the cross into the box, and a stooping header behind from Jack Simpson for another corner. Yeah, you can see that if you're not a natural footballer, you'll last 5 minutes at City in the centre half.
Yeah, well,
you're not
doesn't say a lot that O's had to run around a hell of a lot.
Here comes the corner. It's outswinger this time. Stones is up highest. They can't generate enough power on it. 10 yards out, and it's a simple save in the end for Artur Boruc. I mean, they must touch the ball almost as much as the midfielders. I mean, I don't know the stats, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Stones and Otamendi have had it every time City have gone forward, or even had possession.
Well, that's right. When they do win it, anywhere in and around the middle of the pitch, almost like level with the centre circle or the halfway line, the fullbacks bomb on. Zinchenko, Walker, they're pushing up high. That then pushes like a Sterling or a Silva further up the pitch, or enables them to make a little run in off the touchline, which causes problems, because then, like you say, if they're running into little pockets, City can find them with passes. So yeah, those are centre halves, Otamendi and Stones. They're very much that player, as you say, that starts an attack off, really. So yeah, they're going to be touching the ball an awful lot.
Well, everybody's touched the ball an awful lot in a City shirt today, but it's frustration really, because the scoreline is still blank, and there have been very few clear-cut chances for Manchester City, despite their dominance and despite their intimidating goal-scoring record this season. Bournemouth have done very well as we edge towards the 45th minute here on Premier League Live. Bernardo Silva throws the ball back to Artur Boruc, while the Bournemouth player was receiving a bit of treatment, as Fraser goes on the scamper looking for this hopeful ball forward to him, but Ederson is out to the edge of his area to gather and bowls it out five-a-side style underarm to Gundogan, who feeds De Bruyne on halfway, intercepted by Ake, flicked further clear by Adam Smith. De Bruyne has gone down, he's waving. That might not be good news for any.
Not at all. The City attack was going on, and we're just seeing De Bruyne stay on the surface. He's back on his feet now, walking around, but he certainly doesn't seem happy. He almost signalled as if to say something's gone or something's happened, and I'm coming off.
I think it's his hammy as well. I'm not a lip reader, but it looks to me like he said hamstring. I mean, he's walking off, but he's definitely limping.
He is. Yeah, he's not moving at all well. Just he received the ball a little bit earlier, didn't it? It seemed to be when he just played the pass. It wasn't even like it was like a full force strike of the ball either, was it? It was just a side-footed pass with his right foot. So you're right, it could well be his right hamstring. I mean, he's leaving the pitch walking off, but something's definitely gone.
Well, it's ham something. He might be able to have a ham sandwich afterwards, I don't know, but I think it is his hamstring. It is, he's going. That's sad, because Kevin De Bruyne has had more than his fair share of injury problems this season. They've mostly been knee issues, but he's looking upset as he is consoled by Pep Guardiola, patted on the back of the head. He's gone straight down the tunnel. So De Bruyne is finished this afternoon. Riyad Mahrez is coming on to replace him. It's fair to say, Franny, he didn't take his opportunity when he started at West Ham, did he, Riyad Mahrez? But
no, good opportunity for him in here now, especially the way that the game's gone as well. City's struggling to really create anything too clear-cut against this stubborn Bournemouth defence and team. You can't call it just a defence. It's been a real good team defensive display so far. So, the introduction of Mahrez just might shift things in City's favour. We'll see. Obviously, there's a little bit of added time we're into now, but we'll see what impact that has on the second half.
Yeah, Mahrez is on. There's literally 30 seconds of added on time to go. 0-0. But the way De Bruyne went off, I guess it's one of those situations where there's he can feel it go a little bit, doesn't want to make it any worse, and then you are talking about weeks if depends on the grade of the tear, doesn't it, I suppose, if it is even a tear.
It'd be interesting to see how bad it is and what it is exactly. But yeah, I mean, it could be a sensible call, as you say. You know, a player of experience, especially if we haven't had previous injuries. If it is a little niggle and it's nothing too serious, then you know it's probably the right decision to do. You know, say, look, I don't want to force it, I don't want to risk making it any worse. Right decision would be to come off.
So many big games still to come, of course, so much still to win for Manchester City. First touch for Riyad Mahrez. He's inadvertently won his team a corner, because although he was dispossessed by Charlie Daniels, he ran it out of play. So City will get a late corner here.
Got to concentrate, Bournemouth. Crucial moment of the first half.
Delivered low to the near post. They haven't picked it up, and somehow Boric has got it, then he's lost it. Still the danger is there for Bournemouth. Here's Mahrez. Cross is blocked, and Bournemouth will be very relieved to hear the half-time whistle. Came within a ricochet there of conceding right at the end of the first half. It was chaos inside that 6-yard box. I think it's come off Jack Simpson last, inadvertently, and fumbled by Boric, who grabbed it at the second attempt. And then Bournemouth managed to just about clear it away. Their goal remains intact, but only just. Half-time at the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 0. You're listening to Premier League Live.
There's more to life than football, money and fun. Well, not much. Kick off the new season with TalkSport's £1 million predictor game.
Register now at talksport.com/predictor and play for free throughout the season.
Play it in the van. Play it on the can. Play it with your gran.
Win £1 million sterling.
It's the biggest prize in the history of TalkSport.
The TalkSport £1 million predictor game. Players must be 18 or over. See talksport.com/predictor for full conditions.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Kane now on his left foot, bends the shot, what a goal from Harry Kane! MBE! Stunning finish with his left foot into the top corner. It's wonderful from Spurs. It's magnificent from Harry Kane. No wonder the Queen wanted to bestow an honour upon him. What a goal to celebrate.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Salah's readying himself to take this one. Van Dijk's there. Lovren's there. Fabinho's there to open his account for Liverpool. And just as City go 2-1 down at Leicester, Liverpool stamp their authority at Anfield. Yet more. Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0. Title challenge on. Are they now the favourites?
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Aubameyang through to Torreira inside the area. Torreira scores! And surely now, North London is red again. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2. Here's Maddison for Leicester. Vardy chance! Vardy goal! Leicester City, out of nowhere, have got the lead. Jamie Vardy, who's been virtually anonymous this afternoon, isn't anymore. Wonderful finish by Vardy, and it's Chelsea 0, Leicester City 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
The Premier League Preview Show with TalkSport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
TalkSport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
He's put down the dumbbells and has turned up here for the show. Chris Uwelimo is on the preview show. The Premier League winner, Paul Parker, joins us on the Premier League Preview Show.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com.
This is Premier League Live.
Half time from the Vitality Stadium is very much 0-0. Bournemouth against Manchester City. It's been fairly uninspiring stuff. but our editors have worked a miracle because they've managed to dig out a highlight from this game, which is a fantastic effort, and it's alongside all the best bits from the first half of our other 3 o'clock UK kick-off times.
Towards Bobby Reid, Camarasa again, up towards the 18-yard line, and a shot comes in on John Ruddy, nearly spills it as well from Gunnarsson. Ruddy making his first start for Wolves this season, and it could have been a calamitous start.
Here come Huddersfield, left-hand side of the penalty, Mounier shoots, and it's an effort on goal, and it was on target.
To Jota, Jimenez, opening chance here, and an opening goal! Diego Jota, 15 minutes inside this first half, and Wolves have opened the scoring here at Molineux.
Burnley penalty, and now Zaha goes for a bit of a race and he strikes it, goes across goal, and it's in the back of the net. It's an own goal from Phil Bardsley. It's an absolute disaster for Burnley, who've made the much better start.
And Wolves in possession through Jimenez, he's got ball, he's going to go himself. There's another chance here, for 2-0 possibly. Jimenez! Jimenez, 2-0 to Wolves. And Cardiff are now all at sea.
Playing it across to Valerie. Chance for Valerie to shoot here from the edge of the box, which he does, and it flies into the net. Jan Valerie thumps Southampton into the lead at Old Trafford. A brilliant goal from him. 25 yards out, point to the penalty area, unleashed a thunderbolt of a shot with his right foot.
Half an hour gone. De Bruyne swings the corner in, still 0-0, and the acrobatics from Nicolas Otamendi is not too far away, actually.
Players is Gibbs White with his right boot, with the outswinger towards the penalty area. Headed down, it hits the post, and it can be chipped in by Dendoncker, who misses from 2 yards out.
Advances towards the edge of the penalty area, gets shot, hits the woodwork from Jakenbach. Best effort of the afternoon from Brighton. And he was inches away from giving Brighton the lead.
Yeah, finished 0-0 at half-time in the Amex between Brighton and Huddersfield. Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 1, Manchester United 0, Southampton 1. Wolves 2-0 up at home against Cardiff, and as you've been hearing with us here on Premier League Live at the Vitality Stadium, 0-0 between Bournemouth and Manchester City. Get a quick word with Franny on his old club. He's trying to keep a lid on it, everybody. But Southampton so far at the break, halfway towards a great result.
Well, incredible, and the young Frenchman Jan Valerie only really broke through into the team this season. Impressive enough for Ralph Hasenhüttl to be happy to let Cedric Suarez leave out on loan to Milan, and there's another youngsters coming in as well. So it sounds like it's a wonderful goal. Haven't seen it yet, but there's a bit of work, I think, always at Old Trafford, and even taking the lead. I don't want to get too excited yet, so I'll keep my fingers crossed though.
Has he lost yet, Solskjaer? I don't think he has as United caretaker, has he?
One, I think was it the European game?
He's lost in the league though, has he? I don't think. No. Top of my head. Could it be today? Could it be against the Saints? Cardiff are losing at Wolves, so their relegation troubles are continuing. Huddersfield, well, they look like they're gone anyway, don't they? They have a point at the moment away at Brighton, and Crystal Palace 1-0 at Burnley. A quick thought, Franny, on what we've seen in the 45 minutes here at the Vitality Stadium. The big question, of course, is can Bournemouth hang on for another 45 against this possessional onslaught, if not chance after chance?
I'd expect, and I think City will step it up second half. They have to. I think the reason why we're sat 0-0 at this game so far, Dan, is that a combination of City not being at their best, but Bournemouth doing pretty well defensively as well. And I guess it's City need to step it up. Bournemouth, if they want to get more than a point, need to be a little bit more adventurous if they can. But they haven't had really the opportunities so far. So it'd be nice if we get a goal in this game. Maybe just to open it up a little bit more.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for. There was a pulsating North London derby in the earlier kick-off at Wembley Stadium. Tottenham won, Arsenal won, but that only tells half the story. Full of incidents. Afterwards, the Arsenal manager, Unai Emery, told TalkSport Sam Matterface that VAR would have ruled out Tottenham's equaliser.
Like they are, I think we struggled thing to win, and we were closer of them.
What did you think of the penalty that you conceded when Mustafi ends up fouling Harry Kane? Did you think it was a penalty?
For the referee, it's very difficult. I said 1 month ago, the VAR, I think, is positive. Is coming for the next year because it can help the referees take less mistakes, and the decision is like is with the TV, and for the referee I think is good.
But it looks like it was a foul by Mustafi, but was it offside?
Yes, you watch it better than me.
Yeah.
And I cannot say now because I know the difficult for the referee. But today, his personality here for me is good. I think he is doing, or they were doing very good work, the referees, and with personality. And the mistake is coming VAR for help them and to be more exactly one match with these issues.
Unai Emery speaking after his Arsenal side drew 1-1 at Wembley in an absolutely barnstorming North London derby. The result leaves Tottenham still in third, 8 points adrift of the top two, having played a game more. Arsenal clinging on to fourth at the moment, 2 points clear of Manchester United, who are losing at home to Southampton at the moment at half time. But if United can turn that around, then they will replace the Gunners in the top four. Manchester City need to not exactly turn it around here, but they need to find a goal from somewhere, because at the moment it's a great result for Bournemouth and it's a great result for Liverpool. At half time it is Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 0. Second half is coming right up. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Premier League preview show with Talk Sport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh, it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
Talk Sport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Joining us on the preview show, the former Arsenal striker and most stylish man in football, Jeremy Aliadier. I didn't want him here, but he's turned up anyway. Here's the former Chelsea man, Clive Walker.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League.
Kane now on his left foot, bends a shot, what a goal from Harry Kane! MBE! Stunning finish with his left foot into the top corner. It's wonderful from Spurs. It's magnificent from Harry Kane. No wonder the Queen wanted to bestow an honour upon him. What a goal to celebrate.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Salah's readying himself to take this one. Van Dijk's there. Lovren's there. Fabinho's there to open his account for Liverpool. And just as City go 2-1 down at Leicester, Liverpool stamp their authority at Anfield. Yet more. Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0. Title challenge on. Are they now the favourites?
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Aubameyang through to Torreira inside the area. Torreira scores! And surely now, North London is red again. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2. Here's Maddison for Leicester. Vardy chance! Vardy goal! Leicester City out of nowhere have got the lead. Jamie Vardy, who's been virtually anonymous this afternoon, isn't anymore. Wonderful finish by Vardy, and it's Chelsea 0, Leicester City 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the ultimate football fan tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor.
Predictor. This is Premier League Live.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Bournemouth against Manchester City from the Vitality Stadium. I'm your host, Dan Wheeler. Alongside me is the former Southampton defender, Francis Benali. This is Premier League Live. The two teams are getting ready to come out of the mouth of the tunnel here for the second half, which is blank. The scoreline, 0-0. After a fairly uneventful first 45 minutes, as the scoreline suggests. City dominating possession, really working Bournemouth hard. Lots of concentration and mental energy expended by the Cherries in the first 45 minutes, so they've got to stay strong physically as well as between the ears in this second period, because the onslaught, Francis Benali, will definitely continue from here on in, won't it?
Most definitely will, yeah, and I'm sure that would have been very much the part of Guardiola's team talk. Step it up, guys. Just look at how the table stands at the moment. I mean, City, as it stands, level on points with Liverpool, and that would give them a huge shift of confidence and belief going into the game tomorrow. So, they've got to improve and get better in this second half. But don't take anything away from Bournemouth. They've put in a good defensive display, and got mentioned a number of times. But Nathan Ake and Chris Meppen in the heart of the Bournemouth defence were very solid and at the heart of that stubbornness.
Yeah, they've answered every question that City's attack have thrown at me in the first 45 minutes. Can they carry on that for another 3/4 of an hour? We'll have to wait and see. But they need to try and make their lives a little bit easier in terms of trying to find a bit of an outlet when they are in possession, because they're just not making it stick or giving themselves much of a breather. But they have won a free kick here in a good position from the throw on the right hand side. Sterling complaining to the referee, Josh King, who's probably got the ball near the penalty area for the first time in the Manchester City half, and he's done well to win this free kick. So here's a chance then, maybe, Franny.
That's right, Dan. Yeah, no, Josh King doing well there. Nice bit of skill, good turn. Being fouled in what you rightly say is a dangerous area, and this will be the sort of opportunity that Bournemouth have got to try and maximise on, because they haven't been able to sort of break City down or keep possession or work their way up the pitch high enough to be a threat in the attacking third. This, from what we've seen so far, is probably their best opportunity to get a goal.
Ryan Fraser over it for an outswinger. Charlie Daniels with him for an in-swinger with his left foot potentially. So two angles of attack here for Bournemouth. It's going to be an outswinger from Fraser. Goalkeeper comes out. He gets enough on it. I think he's taken a Bournemouth player with him. I think it might be Nathan Ake, it is, who's down there clutching his head. Ederson has seen if he's okay immediately. Stones is also there checking on the Bournemouth centre half. It was a good delivery from Ryan Fraser, and the goalkeeper came out to punch it. I think it was his right elbow that just made contact with Ake. That was a nasty knock, actually, Franny, looking at that on replay.
Yeah, no, we just had to look back. I mean, my first reaction was Ederson has done extremely well there. Brave to come out. It was a good ball in from Fraser, and Ake brave again, going for the challenge. But I think just on the follow through of the punch of Ederson, it sort of seemed to go right into Ake's face. So it hopefully seems okay. But a bit of a painful one when you clatter with the goalkeeper like that.
Yeah, let's hope he's okay, because he's had a terrific match, Nathan Ake. He's on his feet now, so that's good. 2 minutes gone in this second half, still 0-0 here, but we've had an early goal in the second period at Turf Moor between Burnley and Crystal Palace.
Is only partially cleared. It goes back to Kouyaté. Now it's Zaha heading towards the penalty area. He's got Wan-Bissaka on the right hand side. His ball into the box, finds Batshuayi, and what a fantastic strike from Michy Batshuayi.
Batshuayi with the goal there for Palace. 2-0 up there. Daylight between themselves and the Clarets. Pep Guardiola's better change here while you were listening to that goal going in. The captain Vincent Kompany has come on.
Usual one, that, Dan, isn't it? Sort of defender at this stage of the game, a couple of minutes into the second half, didn't see any obvious signs of John Stones struggling at all. So it's Obviously not a tactical decision, I don't think. We'll have a little look. Company seems to just slot it in as a like-for-like replacement, so maybe he's just feeling something.
Yeah, he didn't play against West Ham, John Stones, in the week, but he started today. But taken off. He didn't look injured, so but maybe they just want a bit more thunder at the back from Vincent Kompany. But unless he's injured, I can't understand why he's been taken off.
Can't see any reason why he would have made that change. No, not at all. So that could have been 2 substitutions that have been enforced upon Pep Guardiola in this game so far.
Yeah, because De Bruyne has had to go off with what looked like a hamstring injury late in the first half. He's been replaced by Riyad Mahrez. I'll give you the 2 teams as they look now in just a second, because Kyle Walker is in possession for City, kicking from right to left in this second half. 0-0 on the south coast. Gundogan up to Sterling. He's got Zinchenko outside him on the left, edge of the penalty area. Attempted 1-2 with David Silva, doesn't come. Silva still has the ball though. Otamendi, touch to Gundogan. Congested around him, he's giving it away. Adam Smith can break away for Bournemouth over halfway, and then he runs into Kyle Walker, and then there's surely a tug of Walker's shirt by Josh Keelan. Little shove as well for his troubles from the Bournemouth striker, and the referee's happy to let that one go. It's a bit of a surprise. Silva slides it in towards Sterling here, wide on the angle, trying to check inside his man, but Chris Mepham sorts his feet out in time and deflects it behind for a corner.
It was good play for him. Sterling this time finding himself in the central striker's role, making a little run in behind. And there was a split second where you thought he was just going to pull the trigger and shoot with his left foot, but decided to cut back, just giving Chris Mepham an opportunity to get a challenge in and roll the ball out for a corner.
City into double figures with corner count. Gundogan fires it towards the far side, headed away, picked back up by Mahrez, thrashed back forward by Walker. Mahrez will pick it up again. He'll run it Fraser on the point of the Bournemouth penalty area, back onto that favoured left foot, checks back onto the right, swings it in. Mepham is there again with a header away from 6 yards. Zinchenko gathers it back. Otamendi, Gundogan. City forced to go back to the halfway line, and Vincent Kompany. Walker. Kompany again. Strolling forward, ball at his feet, out to Sterling now. Check inside and run towards the edge of that deep. He offloads it square to Kompany. Out it goes to the right, and Riyad Mahrez. He's got Bernardo Silva ahead of him. Goes square to Walker. Tries to spread play towards Zinchenko on the left. Intercepted by Klein. Cleared away by the former Liverpool fullback. Gundogan for City, just inside the Bournemouth half. Fired up to Silva. Takes it down well. Off to Zinchenko. Drifts in field. Square ball from him. Walker, 35 yards out. Bernardo Silva takes over. Point to the penalty area. 4 Bournemouth players crowd the Portuguese. Walker, square to Gundogan. Bournemouth got to be careful here. They've got enough numbers left and not get drawn too many towards the ball. Here's David Silva, slides in Aguero inside the box, wide on the angle, stabs it towards goal. Oh, and then back towards goal by David Brooks. Aguero wins it back for City. Gundogan, Zinchenko, square pass all the way along the floor to Kyle Walker.
They just can't get near them at the moment, can they? Bournemouth, an awful lot of passes, lost count of the passes City have had now.
Bernardo Silva tricking his way into the penalty area. Bernardo Silva onto the left foot. Again, high over the bar. Goal kick, Bournemouth.
Certainly haven't got their shooting boots on today so far, Dan, have they? Just Bernardo Silva there, just driving in towards Nathan Ake, cutting back on his left foot, wrapping his foot around it, but not enough. Ball going high and wide over Artur Boric's goal. Just wonder if we'll sense a little bit of frustration creeping into this City side now. I mean, they've left it late before. They're capable of scoring late on. We know that. We've seen it already this season. But you just wonder whether Bournemouth might just get that one opportunity. If they pinch a goal, get their noses in front a little bit, all of a sudden they'll have something even more to hang on to.
They've had 11 attempts on goal, but only 1 on target, Manchester City. Bournemouth haven't had any. How long can they hold out for? It's a similar pattern to the West Ham game, where they're very well organised, Bournemouth, as West Ham were. They defended very well, as West Ham did, and for all the amount of possession they had, City couldn't break them down until that controversial penalty. Will history repeat itself again today?
You think you can put the work rate in, the organisation, the time on the training ground beforehand in the build-up to a game, and it just takes that split second, doesn't it, to concede a goal, and all your hard work goes out the window.
Zinchenko 1-2 with David Silva, tries to give it back to the Spaniard. He takes it down on his chest, stab forward here to Bernardo Silva, laid off to Mahrez. Riyad Mahrez fires Manchester City in front on 55 minutes. Huge sighs of relief on the Manchester City bench. They hit the front. A smile dances across the face of Pep Guardiola. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1.
Oh, that must absolutely break Bournemouth's hearts there, and the ball bounced around a little bit. Nathan Ake just stepped out a little bit to try and engage the ball, but it rolled almost to the point of the 6-yard box. Riyad Mahrez just struck it first time, right-footed. It's gone inside Artur Boric's near post. He's got to criticise Boric for that. It's not even a powerful strike, to be honest. Whether he wonders if Mahrez is going to strike the ball across his goal, I don't know, but it's crept in at his near post. Mistake from Boric, and City find themselves in the lead.
Oh, Franny's got to save that, hasn't he?
Yeah, for sure. It's, any ball going in at the goalkeeper's near post, you ask the questions. You say, is it a good enough save? And more often than not, you say, no, it's an error from the goalkeeper, and that certainly was from Artur Boric.
Well, Eddie Howe made that call, half a dozen games ago to swap his goalkeepers. Artur Boric has played the last 6 matches. He kept clean sheets in his first 2 appearances, but that was a bad one there. He really should have stopped Riyad Mahrez's shot at his near post. That was pretty soft goalkeeping, it has to be said. And we were talking about it, weren't we? Just like at West Ham with that award of that soft penalty, we've had a poor piece of goalkeeping rather than a piece of City brilliance that has them in front. Kompany just inside the Bournemouth half. So much better that will feel for Pep Guardiola, his coaching staff, and the players, of course, now, knowing they have the comfort of that advantage, and against a Bournemouth side who have literally offered nothing. No corners, no attempts on goal. No attempts on target anyway. I think 1 attempt on goal. Here they come again, City. Mahrez back to Bernardo Silva. Ball whipped into the area. Half volley clearance by Jack Simpson. Touched by Josh King, who's played as anything other than a striker today. And away it goes to Nathan Ake, who will clear it away. So high time I actually gave you the 2 teams how they line up, because I promised. So here they are. Boric is the keeper for Bournemouth. Klein, Mepham, Ake and Smith the back 4. Simpson the defensive midfielder. Fraser, Brooks, Sermon and Daniels in midfield, with King notionally the striker, but he's playing as a 5th midfielder really, in all honesty, if that. Ederson's the keeper for City. Walker, Kompany now. Otamendi and Zinchenko the back 4. Mahrez, Gundogan and David Silva in midfield. Bernardo Silva, Aguero and Sterling their front 3. City forced into making 2 changes. De Bruyne going off late in the first half with a hamstring tweak, it looked like, and Stones being swapped for Kompany early in the second half. That would appear to be merely just something that Pep Guardiola wanted to do, unless there's been a little niggle for John Stones, which we won't find out until afterwards.
Dilemma for Bournemouth now, you'd say, is like to get back into this game. Do they go and press City a little bit more? Do they leave gaps and expose themselves a little bit more, which would naturally sort of be beneficial for City, because there'd be more space, more openings, more opportunities to get balls into the box and potentially score a second goal. And as we've seen right from the first minute of this game, Dan, Bournemouth just cannot get anywhere near Manchester City. You wonder almost whether City could almost just keep possession for the rest of the game. Yeah. Because the Bournemouth players just aren't able to get near them.
You do wonder where Bournemouth are going to try and change things from. Where are they going to get a goal from? Because it just doesn't look a possibility at the moment. Can't get hold of the ball, and when they do, it just seems to be very fractured, almost mailing up as they go along. As the ball comes in towards Boric again, and he's not that assured. He just about grabs it before it goes beyond the byline for a goal kick. A shaky few moments for the Bournemouth keeper. There's been another goal at Old Trafford in the game between Manchester United and Southampton. Hold your breath, Francis Benali.
To Young chips it down the line. Gordano gets a good touch on it and looks to link up with Lukaku. Now he offloads it to Andreas Pereira. Loads of space left side for Shaw. Pereira came infield instead and bent a beautiful goal into the corner. No chance for Angus Gunn that time. Andreas Pereira levelling things up.
I didn't want to get too excited. And that's why.
1-1 now with from his beloved Saints here at the Vitality Stadium. It's 1-0 to Manchester City. They're going back 2 points clear at the top of the table as it stands. Wondering how Bournemouth are going to shake things up here. How are they going to test City?
Eddie Howe's got to change something. I think, he's got Ibe on the bench, he's got Mousset. He's got to change something somehow, because at the moment the game plan's gone out the window, really. You'd hope defensively they've done a job. First half they were great. Now that they've fallen behind, you've got to do something. Got to make some sort of change. Either change the formation, maybe just put another body up alongside Josh King.
Yeah, they've got to give themselves a chance, haven't they? At the moment they've got no chance.
No, exactly. And we could just see the remainder of this game out played as it is, and City would quite comfortably do that, unless there's a mistake somewhere, obviously. But to be a little bit more proactive, I guess, to try and get back into this game rather than just almost accepting defeat and losing by the 1 goal margin. Be a little bit adventurous. Try and get back into the game. Put City under pressure a little bit.
60 minutes played. Bournemouth have given it away again. David Silva, Sterling, Silva back to Zinchenko, point to the penalty area. Ball is blocked by Adam Smith. And Zinchenko has done well, very well. Finds Gundogan in a tight space. Ball into the penalty area, looking for the crossfield run of Bernardo Silva, but he's got Ake tracking his every move, and then a good header from Nicolas Otamendi going through the back of Josh King, but fairly.
Strong, powerful challenge, wasn't it? Good defending from Nathan Ake, but King just getting a bang and a nudge in the back. Otamendi's eyes and concentration fully on the ball though, so correct decision from Kevin Friend. No foul for me either.
Bournemouth worked the throw short, forward by Nathaniel Klein up to Josh King. Spreads it to the left-hand side, but it's a little bit behind Charlie Daniels. Ake with a chance to get forward now. Actually into the Manchester City half here, Bournemouth. Daniels back to Ake, away from Aguero, scooped down the line. Has that gone out of play? It has. That's disappointing again. Throw to Manchester City. 62 minutes played here. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1. Another goal at Old Trafford.
Pogba works it out left side for Shaw. Shaw infield trying to find Andreas Pereira. Did well. Now here's Lukaku inside the penalty area, and Lukaku finds the bottom corner, and Manchester United have the lead for the first time in the game.
Well, you can't leave, okay?
No, I'm staying. I'm definitely staying. I think we're going to get another goal in this game. I wouldn't be surprised about that, but what a shame.
Still time. 2-1.
There is.
Still 2-1.
Let's be optimistic. Plenty of time to get back into it.
Plenty of time for Bournemouth to get back into it here, but that is being uber optimistic, I'm afraid. We've still got 28 minutes to go, but City in total control. Only a goal up. Riyad Mahrez on 55 minutes, but given more than a helping hand from Artur Boric at his near post. Should really have saved that, the Bournemouth keeper. Mahrez didn't really get much power behind the shot from 8 yards or so on the angle, and beat the keeper far too easily. But Bournemouth, as Francis Benali was saying, they've got to try something different. shake it up from the bench somehow. They've got Lys Mousset there, they've got Jordan Ibe there. There's options potentially as the ball comes forward from David Silva, hits the back of Raheem Sterling, who turns and shoots, and it snakes its way towards goal, but Boruc is there to make the save to his left, and now Sermon might be able to lead a counter here for Bournemouth. Ball by Daniels down the line, finds Fraser, he's got to Walker in support. That looks a fair challenge to me, and the referee agrees. Fraser takes a tumble, but that was shoulder to shoulder at worst. Lovely ball towards Sterling, he's got clear of his man. Raheem Sterling hits the side netting. Easily could have doubled Manchester City's money there. Beautiful ball forward to him from David Silva, and he wriggled free of his man, but he couldn't find the target. It may have even been a save from Boruc, I reckon. That might have taken it, should have been a corner. I think it is a corner.
Yeah, it was a good save. Sterling breaking free from the Bournemouth defence, and I agree with you earlier, right decision from Kevin Friend, no foul on Ryan Fraser, the challenge from Kyle Walker, but City broke so fast. Ended up from Sterling's shot, good save from Boruc.
Corner on that far side, the City right, it's swung in by Gundogan, and Otamendi is there trying to get the late header in, the diving header. I think he made some contact, it went wide of the right hand post, a loud blast on the whistle from the referee anyway. And I think he's protested too much, Nicolas Otamendi, and he'll go into the book. I don't know quite what his problem is there. Is he claiming that his run was blocked off towards the ball?
Sure, did he get a handball? Did it strike his arm? Strange one, couldn't see an obvious foul as such.
But, the Argentinian's not happy, but referee not interested. City crucially still lead. There is Otamendi's header up towards the halfway line. David Silva on halfway, away from Nathaniel Klein. Now Company.
Again, City just sort of controlling the game again. It's just dropping it into a pace where they're dictating the tempo and, you know, possession of the football. You know, Bournemouth need to shake it up somehow. Like I say, we spoke about substitutions, but maybe one or two of the players just fly into a challenge or something. You know, a tackle can sometimes just fire the supporters up a little bit and, you know, get them behind you again. So, you know, at the moment they're too far away from the City players. Just got to be a bit braver, I think is the word.
Yeah, someone in a Bournemouth shirt's got to take the game by the scruff of the neck here, haven't they? To seize the initiative somehow. I know it's easier said than done against Manchester City. You've got to get the ball first, but yeah, it's at the moment they're just sleepwalking towards a defeat, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely inevitable. But
I know sometimes as a player I'd get angry, you know, it's like, and would fly into a challenge maybe to sort of almost try and fire my teammates up a little bit.
That's a foul by Sterling, so they will get a free kick. He's a bit late through the back there of Adam Smith, and that will be a free kick to Bournemouth. Every time Smith goes down, I expect the Bournemouth medical team just wince and keep their fingers crossed a little bit, because he's done brilliantly to come back from knee surgery that he had in November. He was scheduled to be out for 3 months, but he came back ahead of schedule. Here's Klein. Looks okay though, Smith. Klein away from Zinchenko, not away from Otamendi, but they have the throw. Bournemouth level with the edge of the Manchester City 6-yard box, but they will keep themselves going, knowing that it is still only 1-0.
It's always such a dangerous scoreline, isn't it, for any team, even the reigning champs, in a game that they've completely dominated. It just takes that one moment, like they scored a goal out of nowhere. It's quite possible to do the same at the opposite end.
Long throw coming in from Daniels, away by Otamendi, but up rather than away from goal. He has another opportunity, stooped back in by Daniels, cleared away, but Sermon will do his best to try and pick it up off Kyle Walker. Again, Bournemouth not happy with the officials there, but it looks like it's just going to be a Manchester City goal kick. They wanted, I think, a high boot there potentially against Raheem Sterling. That looked like the complaint, Franny.
Yeah, most definitely. Drew Sterling, the skipper, not happy. It's a high boot. Got to the ball as well, just headed the ball away.
And the back heel from Gundogan doesn't come off. Klein chips it down the line but hits the chest of Zinchenko. Now David Silva into Bournemouth territory, slide ball past to Sterling, who carries it in his stride, wide on the left hand side. Aguero waiting, here's Aguero. Oh, good save by Boric. Beautiful improvisation from Sergio Aguero, though. He sort of took it in his stride and then almost in mid-air sort of took a flick with the outside of his right boot, trying to catch Boric by surprise, but the keeper pulled off a solid save in the end.
Yeah, decent save. You know, he's got to pull these saves off now for his team, hasn't he, after the mistake. Good play from Sterling, though.
A fifth attempt on target by City. 15 overall for them. But that was Aguero's first real effort for a while.
He almost just stabbed at it, didn't he?
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't a strike as such. You know, his touch, I think the ball was still under his body a little bit, so he just sort of flicked out at it, almost a stab strike at the ball. But he's so good at that, you know, that what makes him such a good striker. You know, he's dangerous in and around the box, but Sterling finding himself in time and space in the 18-yard box, and you can't go near the players when they're in the box. These kind of players, skillful, tricky, quick.
He scored 7 goals in his last 9 appearances in all competitions. Scored in 7 of the last 9, rather. 11 goals in total for that run for Sergio Aguero. Involved in an astonishing 74 goals, either scoring or assisting, in 80 appearances under Pep Guardiola. I mean, the guy's incredible. I mean, his stats are mind-boggling. City's all-time record goal scorer, of course, 224 goals in 325 matches, 161 Premier League goals in 230 matches. Not on the score sheet yet today with 20 minutes to go, but City won't care as long as it stays like this. 1-0 they lead. Riyad Mahrez on 55 minutes with the key goal. Kompany into Bournemouth territory, back out to Kyle Walker, forward to David Silva, 1-2 with Aguero, back to Aguero just outside the area, square to Zinchenko inside the box, flick forward to David Silva, trying to steer it back into the 6-yard area, but cleared away by Mepham. And now King wide on the right hand side, a back heel blindly infield. It's a bit of a risky move, and City just win it back. Here they come again. Gundogan off to David Silva, runners left and right. Right is Sterling, left Zinchenko. He finds Sterling, laid off to Gundogan, central position, 30 yards out. Back to Sterling, point to the penalty area, wants a give and go with David Silva, who instead gives it to Zinchenko. Time to whip it in towards the far side, missed at the near post. Aguero closing in at the far stick, couldn't get there in time, but it has gone out for a corner to City on that far side.
It was a decent ball in. It was whipped in by Zinchenko, and I think it was Chris Mepham who did get an actual touch on it, you know, stretching a leg out and getting a little touch on the ball, racing out of play on the opposite side of the goal. Those kind of things can often go in off a defender or into the path of a striker, but for Bournemouth, they're probably quite happy to see that go out for a corner.
With 18 minutes to go, Gundogan will take it from the right hand side. The referee wants to sort out a bit of nonsense here in the 6-yard box. He's coming over to Bernardo Silva, who's wide-eyed, pointing to his chest and going, "What, me, ref?" And Nathaniel Klein is saying, "Yes, you, ref." So
don't
Klein
think Bernardo Silva agreed with that.
I
think I saw if lip reading is anything to go by. He said, "What, me push him?"
Yeah, he's a bit bigger than him, Nathaniel Klein, isn't he? Away by Sermon from the edge of the 6-yard box, picked back up by Walker. Zinchenko thinks about a long bomb forward, but will just swap the ball with Walker. Now Kompany takes over. Otamendi still inside the centre circle here, Manchester City. 1-0 they lead as they look to go back to the top of the Premier League table. Aguero Mahrez. Otamendi.
This is the thing that City are going to find, though, isn't it? You know, sides will set up defensively to keep them out, and it's almost saying, well, okay, come and try and break us down. So it puts the onus on City to actually go and do that.
Sterling gets it back from Silva and now tries to return it to David Silva inside the box, but Bournemouth bodies are there, and now Brooks can bring it away. He finds Josh King. That's gone out of play from King. That should be a City throw. It is. Here comes a change, I think. Yeah, Bournemouth are going to make their first overdue substitution, really, I think, Franny.
Yeah, well, I think maybe the bench were looking to do that a little bit earlier, Dan. It was, you know, Manchester City, the ball's been in play for quite some time, and they're keeping possession of the football so well, as they have done throughout. That I don't think Eddie Howe was able to make it any quicker until there was a break in play.
Well, David Brooks, the man who spent 10 years in the academy at Manchester City before joining Sheffield United, is making way. Might even be a double change here for Bournemouth. It is. Brooks has gone off, and Lis Mousset has come on, who scored for Bournemouth, their consolation, as it turned out, at Arsenal in the week. He's off the bench again, Lis Mousset, for the 19th time this season.
Bournemouth unhappy again. They just sensed that City were overplaying a little bit at the back, trying to play out, calm and composed as they are, and they just triggered that high press. I think the ball just did actually strike the arm of the Bournemouth player, and much to the disappointment of the home crowd, naturally.
Ederson drives the free kick forward, headed straight out of play by Simpson. City take the throw up towards the halfway line. Vincent Kompany away by Ederson. 14 minutes to go. Kompany with a strong header, and there's a mistake here, releasing Sterling out from the goalkeeper, and then over the bar. A wild thrash from the goal scorer Mahrez. Sterling looked like he was going to nip in there to make it 2-0, but I think that was good goalkeeping that time from Artur Boruc. The key question there is, did he touch the ball before he went out of his penalty area? That was tight.
It certainly was a tight call, wasn't it? You know, whether he's in or out, it's borderline, but fantastic reactions. He dives to his left across Raheem Sterling. There's Mepham, who sort of like just got a little touch, not good enough to get back to his goalkeeper. And then Riyad Mahrez coming in, almost hopefully looking to fire the ball back into the goal. Fires it way over the crossbar. Should have maybe just been a little bit more composed, taken a touch. He would have still had time to get his shot away. There's a worrying signs for Bournemouth. Not just the fact that they could have potentially gone a second goal down, but it looks like Nathan Ake's now receiving some treatment.
Yeah, good goalkeeping from Boruc. He was culpable for that soft piece of keeping. We should have stopped Riyad Mahrez's shot from going in and beating him at the near post, but that was terrific work to deny Sterling what would have been a definite second goal. Mahrez should have done a bit better from the follow-up as well, because the goalkeeper's way out of his area. With 13 minutes to go, Ake is down. He's having that left knee flex. That's a worry, because he's been outstanding for Bournemouth today. Now, I said to you, Franny, don't go anywhere after that second Manchester United goal. It's a very good job you haven't.
Here he comes, James Ward-Prowse over the wall. Oh, what a goal! A brilliant free kick from James Ward-Prowse, and Southampton are back level. Oh, we've seen some stunning goals in this match, and that's another one.
There you go.
Well, he's had a real shift in his career and season, certainly since Ralph Hasenhüttl's come in. Yeah, he is, and he's scoring goals now. That's the thing. His dead ball deliveries have been excellent in the past, James Ward-Prowse, and he's a good footballer. I guess if there's one criticism you would say, it's like, does he score enough goals? But he's getting on the goal sheet regularly now. So that's following up his goal in midweek. 2 goals in a number of days.
Southampton 2-2 now at Old Trafford. Here it's still 1-0 to Manchester City, but they look likely to add to that. They're coming closer all the time. David Silva trying to feed Sterling again. Just about get it away, Bournemouth, as they look to try and somehow get back into this game. It is still only 1-0. There is still time. 12 minutes remaining. If City can hang on, of course, they'll go back 2 points ahead of Liverpool at the top of the table. They've got matches to come at home against Watford, Cardiff, the most tricky on paper at least, Tottenham and Leicester. Can't see dropping too many points there, you wouldn't have thought. At home. Away it's at Fulham, Crystal Palace, the Manchester derby, Burnley and Brighton. I haven't got Liverpool's run into hand, but I know they are playing Chelsea and Spurs, but both at Anfield, I think it is, as they're their 2 most problematic looking fixtures, you would think. Here's Bernardo Silva allowed to run. A right-footed shot deflects off Ake, who's still feeling that left knee a little bit. He's desperately trying to run it off, Nathan Ake, but not sure how successful he's going to be. He might even be holding the top part of his groin as well.
I think he got struck with the ball there from that shot from Silva, which
that would be
might
why.
have been a little bit of a painful one, maybe. So at least it takes the mind off his knee for a little while.
That's a classic defender talking there. Ederson clears it away inside the last 10 minutes here, but that's gone straight almost to his opposite number Artur Boruc. So let's hear about a goal at the Amex Stadium, Brighton against Huddersfield.
Really good delivery from Knockout. It's the ball into the back of the net, and Antone has scored for Brighton. There is the breakthrough. Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Huddersfield Town 0. A goal 11 minutes from time from Florin Antone.
Here's Aguero for Manchester City, just outside the penalty area. He's going for goal. He's chipped the goalkeeper. Oh, he's back off the crossbar. So unlucky, Sergio Aguero. City within inches of going 2-0 up, and Ake clears it away.
What a great opportunity there for City to go 2 up. It was wonderful vision from Aguero. He's a long way out. He just chips. He spots Boruc. You can't even say Boruc is off his line, really, but he's just chipped the ball towards goal, and Boruc has got the slightest of fingertips on it, enough to just push it on the underside of the bar, and his defender's done his job well. Nathan Ake backing up, heading the ball clear.
What I love most about that, I think on the replay, he almost sort of tries to kid the goalkeeper, kid the players around him. He's looking, not even looking at the goal, Aguero. He kind of instinctively seeing his peripheral vision, the keeper is off his line, and he's sort of looking to his right as if he's going to whip it over there. And it's just absolutely...
It's almost like a lazy kind of chip, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know? It just shows his awareness and his ability and vision in and around the 18-yard box.
He's such a wonderful player. And if that had gone in, I know he doesn't get many headers, but he scores all sorts of goals. Here comes a double change for Bournemouth. I thought they were going to make one a couple of moments ago, but they are definitely going to do one now. Simpson is going off, and he is going to be replaced by Jordan Ibe, and Diego Rico I think is going to come on as well, because Nathaniel Klein is coming off. Let's see, Klein off and Rico on. I assume it was Ibe who came on.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah,
Dan, yeah.
So they've emptied their bench. They have made their 3 substitutions now. Diego Rico. He's a left back by trade, so it might mean that Adam Smith switches flanks. And Ibe is on as well. City on the attack. Mahrez into the penalty area. Mahrez shoots left-footed. Ake again in the way. Here is Rico. Yes, he's gone in at left back. That's not the greatest of clearances though. Straight to Ilkay Gundogan. Mahrez lots of time to pick his options. Just short pass to Bernardo Silva's a lovely mazy run from him. He wanted a foul from the referee, wasn't coming, and now Bournemouth look to escape down their left-hand side, and Kyle Walker has just caught Lys Mousset, and Guardiola's got involved as well. He's tried to separate the two players. He's ordered Kyle Walker to go away. Trying his best to be peacemaker there, Pep Guardiola. The referee's going to come across and have a word here. Kyle Walker shown a yellow card.
This will help Bournemouth, I think. I mean, it's a nasty looking challenge. I mean, Walker, the ball's played down close to the touchline, and Walker slides in. He doesn't get anything of the ball. Looks like he makes contact. You can see why there is a reaction for sure, but Walker doesn't need to react like that. You can see why Guardiola's leapt off out well, he might have been stood in the technical area, but you can see why he stepped in to try and get Kyle Walker away. This can just sort of fuel and energise the crowd now and the players to try and have a real go for these last 6 or 7 minutes plus any added time.
It still is only 1-0 as well, to remember that. There's still a chance here for Bournemouth to get something. Still a chance for Liverpool fans willing them to do so. Away by Aguero. Picked back up by Sterling. Aguero once more. He's going to return the favour to Sterling. It's a bit fast, the pass, but he's going to keep it in, is he, Sterling? I think he did initially, and then for me he might have taken it out, but the referee says play on. Aguero into the penalty area, away from Ibe. Aguero on the byline, and his cross is blocked by Adam Smith behind for another corner.
You're right, Dan. I mean, the ball initially you think, no, that hasn't gone out of play. It wasn't a great layoff from Aguero to Sterling, but then Sterling did sort of take a touch that seemed to take the ball out of play from our angle, didn't it?
Yeah, I thought that was definitely out. Less than 5 minutes to go. City still heading for 3 crucial points. They have a corner. Gundogan will take it, an in-swinger towards the far side. Goalkeeper stays at home, and then makes a really good save from Otamendi. Now it's flashed back into the mixer from Walker. Might have taken a flick off Kompany, and it's gone behind for a Bournemouth goal kick. City coming very, very close to doubling their lead. Another good stop by Artur Boruc.
Yeah, he's made amends since that one mistake has cost his team.
It's Mahrez again, actually.
Mahrez with the header at the far post, a little flick on from the corner. Certainly would be unlucky not to have got another goal there, Mahrez, but at the moment this is one soft goal from Bournemouth's perspective. That is the difference between the two teams.
But at the moment it's enough. But Boruc, for as much as he was at fault for the goal, he's made 2 very, very key and very, very good interceptions. One to deny Sterling, and then that effort there from Mahrez. Here's Mousset picking the ball up towards the edge of the penalty area, but he's shown too much of it to Kompany, and now City could spring something here on the charge. David Silva inside the centre circle. The momentum slows, finds Bernardo Silva forward towards Sterling.
As much as City want and probably would love a second goal, they just need to manage the game now.
Yeah.
You know, they're so
just
good at keeping
out,
the football. Just game management. Just see the game out. You know, draw Bournemouth out to them. Bournemouth have got to come and engage them at some point. If they just keep it in and around the halfway line where the ball is now, there we go. Bournemouth players have got to come out. Then they can pick them off.
Just their natural game will do from here on in. Forward to Gundogan. Now Aguero is playing as a left winger here. He's ghosting off his touchline. Beautiful play by Aguero. Dummies the shot. Aguero's still going! Oh, and he just pulls it wide of the right-hand post. Thought for all the world that was going to nestle into the bottom right-hand corner of the net. He just kept running and running and running, Sergio Aguero, and just inside the area. Not to be this time. Goal kick.
It's a very Aguero-like finish, was it? You know, picking the ball up close to the touchline, driving and dribbling in field, and just kept going, as you're saying. It's just a good little run, but he'll be bitterly disappointed with the standard of his finish. Certainly not up to his normal levels.
No, he's hit the bar with an audacious effort in this second half, catching Boric off his line. But other than that, it's been a bit of a frustrating afternoon for Aguero. But he won't care as long as 3 more points are banked, and that is all that matters. Gabriel Jesus is going to come on for City in these last moments. Might well be for Sergio Aguero. We'll wait and see. Getting a cuddle and a pat on the chest from Pep Guardiola.
Again, this is game management from the manager and the touchline now, you know, sort of helping the team, just looking to take the pace out of the game a little bit, run that clock down a little bit.
Who's it going to be for? Looks like it might well be Aguero. Here comes the change.
He's certainly not going to be in any rush to leave the field of play at all, is he?
No. There's the number 10 that is shown on the fourth official's board, and Sergio Aguero is being told by Kevin Friend to slip through the gears as he makes his way off the field, and Gabriel Jesus is going to come on. He's missed the last 4 matches in all competitions, the Brazilian, with a thigh problem. But he's back in the thick of it now for the last few moments of this game. City 10 seconds plus stoppage time away from victory. Jordan Ibe away from Zinchenko, still with Ibe running at Otamendi. Smith doing his best to try and keep the move alive, but I think he's failed. He has. The assistant is indicating a goal kick. And all eyes now back on David Coots' electronic scoreboard, the fourth official, to see how many additional minutes will be added, and the answer is 4.
Just seeing a replay of the tracking back from Ilkay Gundogan. Good play in the dying moments of the game, doing that defensive side of the game. So used to seeing him on the creative side, but seeing the danger, just shepherding the ball out of play well.
Ederson finds Gabriel Jesus to Zinchenko on halfway, forward to Gundogan. That's a good ball to Sterling, point to the penalty area. Jesus is ahead of him still with Raheem Sterling, not back to Gundogan. Little dink into the penalty area for David Silva. City trying to walk the ball in again, and Nathan Ake again is there inside his 6-yard box to turn it over the bar for a corner.
Yeah, it's that typical sort of build-up play that we're so accustomed to seeing from City. So crucial for the Bournemouth defenders to stay with their runners. Exactly what Nathan Ake did there, and what he's done on numerous occasions throughout the game.
14th corner of the match for City. Bournemouth haven't managed a single one. 90 seconds of the 4 minutes have gone. The end of this one, short from Gundogan to Sterling, forward to Jesus. Almost carries the ball out of play for a goal kick, and then he does for a throw to Bournemouth right on the corner flag. Another goal at Old Trafford between Manchester United and Southampton.
Shaw back for Fred again. First time touch, trying to find Lukaku. He's broken his way, and Lukaku's bent it into the bottom corner for what may well prove to be the winning goal. It's cruel on Southampton, but it's a brilliant finish from Lukaku.
The second goal of the game for Romelu Lukaku. That's been a cracking match at Old Trafford. The lead has swung one way then the other, and he's not happy again. He's ridden the emotional roller coaster this afternoon. United now lead by 3 goals to 2. Here's Mahrez. City leading by a goal to 0 still. Here's David Silva. 90 seconds of the 4 minutes remain. Zinchenko. David Silva to Raheem Sterling. Will just run the ball towards the corner flag, it looks like. Then he stops, knocks it back to David Silva. Spaniard has it again. Now rolled down the line here for Sterling towards the penalty area. He's got Chris Mepham right at his back. He won't let him go anywhere. Smith is looking to help him out, and then Mepham has chopped into Sterling. That's a cheap free kick, and That might well be that for Bournemouth. While we wait for them to take this, let's get to Turf Moor. Another goal there between Burnley and Palace.
Crystal Palace penalty area. Westwood's ball in, and it's in the back of the net. There'll be no clean sheet for Crystal Palace, and Burnley do reduce the arrears, although it may be too little too late in terms of thinking about any points in this game.
Yeah, Burnley, surely too much for them to do now. Palace looking very, very safe now, leading by 3-1. Here it's still 1-0 to City. City take the free kick short. They're quite happy to just keep this in the corner now and draw the challenges off the Bournemouth players and just kill a few more seconds. Only 10 seconds of the 4 minutes remain. Gabriel Jesus almost going straight over the corner flag. It's taken a right pummeling. Kevin Friend is going to sort this out, and he's given a free kick to Bournemouth, taken forward by Boric. Still we play on beyond the 4 minutes. Not anymore. The final whistle goes. Manchester City laboured for a lot of the game, dominated possession but didn't create very much, but got the crucial goal that sends them back 2 points clear at the top of the table, and then gives all the psychological pressure back to Liverpool ahead of the Merseyside derby tomorrow. Final score from the Vitality Stadium: Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1. Riyad Mahrez's goal is enough. We'll now take you to Old Trafford for the closing stages of Manchester United against Southampton.
Up toward Gallagher, it came off his chest, it's bounced for Pogba. Pogba will stride forward here, over halfway. He's got Rashford in support, plays it through for Rashford, slightly wide but into the penalty area here. Any room for a shot? Defender in his way is Bednarek. Rashford hangs on to it, then goes down, and it's a penalty. Clipped by Stuart Armstrong, and United can seal it once and for all now. Rashford fouled by Armstrong. Didn't look as though there was a lot of contact, but Stuart Atwell said there was enough for United to be awarded a penalty. Just have the chance to see it again. Yeah, it was clumsy from Armstrong. Rashford trying to protect the ball, was always going to go down once the contact came in. Needless concession from Stuart Armstrong. And Rashford winning the penalty. United with the chance to put the seal on the win here. It's Paul Pogba against Angus Gunn. Pogba with his hair dyed blonde today, hands on his hips, puffs out his cheek, takes steps backwards. Is he going to do his long staggering run up here, I wonder? Up against Gunn. 4th minute of stoppage time. It is his staggered run up. Oh, and he's missed it. Kicked away by Gunn.
So blonde hair or not, Paul Pogba has missed the chance to make the game absolutely safe for Manchester United, but they still look like they're going to hang on for victory there in a topsy-turvy game against Southampton, and they lead by 3-2 deep in stoppage time there. Here at the Vitality Stadium, Manchester City, well, Franny Benali, same as they did against West Ham, not at their best, but they got the job done.
Exactly, and that sometimes is the making of champions, isn't it? These games that could be the little tricky ones, especially on the basis of the first 45 minutes where City weren't able to really create anything too clear-cut. Bournemouth did well, very well defensively, and definitely had a game plan. Went out with a plan that you could see they'd been working on how to stifle and stop Man City. But there's always that risk of, if they do get the one goal, how can you get back into the game? And other than maybe the last 5 or 6 minutes, there was very little attacking wise that were offered from Bournemouth. But wonderful finish. They'll be disappointed, Bournemouth, because you've got to say Artur Boric was at fault for Riyad Mahrez's goal. He didn't strike it too well. It was a little bit of a scuff, but it's crept in at Boric's near post, and you've got to look at the goalkeeper whenever those sort of goals go in. But City completely dominated it. I mean, what was it, 14 corners they had, 82% possession, and Bournemouth didn't even have a shot on target. So, stats in many ways don't lie, but the big one, the important one, was that City got the one goal, but even more importantly, the 3 points, which keeps the pressure on Liverpool now.
Yeah, it certainly does. Franny, great to see you. I've had a good fun this afternoon. Franny Benali, the former Bournemouth defender, part of our commentary team here on Premier League Live. Manchester City, yes, not at their best by any stretch of the imagination, but Riyad Mahrez's goal on 55 minutes was enough for Pep Guardiola's side, just like their penalty at London Stadium against West Ham on another unimpressive performance from them was enough then. It's taken them back to the top of the Premier League table, and is now Liverpool that have to try and match them. You're listening to Premier League Live.
There's more to life than football, money and fun. Well, not much. Kick off the new season with TalkSport's £1 million Predictor game.
Register now at talksport.com/predictor and play for free throughout the season.
Play it in the van. Play it on the can. Play it with your gran.
Win £1 million sterling.
It's the biggest prize in the history of TalkSport.
The TalkSport £1 million Predictor game. Players must be 18 or over. See talksport.com/predictor for full conditions.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Kane now on his left foot, bends the shot, what a goal from Harry Kane! MBE! Stunning finish with his left foot into the top corner. It's wonderful from Spurs. It's magnificent from Harry Kane. No wonder the Queen wanted to bestow an honour upon him. What a goal to celebrate.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Salah's readying himself to take this one. Van Dijk's there. Lovren's there. Fabinho's there to open his account for Liverpool. And just as City go 2-1 down at Leicester, Liverpool stamp their authority at Anfield. Yet more. Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0. Title challenge on. Are they now the favourites?
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Aubameyang through to Torreira inside the area. Torreira scores! And surely now, North London is red again. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2. Here's Maddison for Leicester. Vardy chance! Vardy goal! Leicester City out of nowhere have got the lead. Jamie Vardy, who's been virtually anonymous this afternoon, isn't anymore. Wonderful finish by Vardy, and it's Chelsea 0, Leicester City 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
The Premier League Preview Show with TalkSport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
TalkSport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
He's put down the dumbbells and has turned up here for the show. Chris Iwelumo is on the preview show. A Premier League winner, Paul Parker, joins us on the Premier League Preview Show.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com.
This is Premier League Live.
Premier League Live with TalkSport.
You're listening to Premier League Live. I'm your host, Dan Wheeler. Coming up, full coverage of West Ham United against Newcastle United. Plus, we'll reflect on all the action from this afternoon's Premier League football, including Manchester City doing it again, doing just enough like they did against West Ham in the week. They've squeezed past Bournemouth by a 1-0 to go back 2 points clear of Liverpool at the top of the table. We'll reflect on all this afternoon's action in just a second, but first we'll get to London Stadium for the team news between West Ham and Newcastle with Russell Hargreaves.
Thank you very much. West Ham, first of all, making 5 changes to the side that lost 1-0 to Manchester City in midweek. Into the side come Aaron Cresswell, Mark Noble, Robert Snodgrass, Javier Hernandez and Manuel Lanzini, the Argentinian international midfielder, making his first start for 8 months after a serious knee injury picked up in a pre-World Cup training camp. Dropping to the bench are Pedro Obiang, Samir Nasri and Mikel Antonio. No Andy Carroll against his old team or Ben Johnson. So West Ham in a 4-2-3-1 formation. formation with Lucas Fabianski in goal, Ryan Fredericks, Issa Diop, Angelo Ogbonna and Aaron Creswell at the back, Mark Noble and Declan Rice in the engine room, and Lanzini, Robert Snodgrass and Felipe Anderson supporting Javier Hernandez up front. As for Newcastle, Rafa Benitez's in-form side unchanged to the side that beat Burnley 2-0 on Tuesday. 3-4-3 formation for the visitors, Martin Dubravka in goal, Fabian Schär, Florian Lejeune and Jamal Lascelles at the back, Javier Manquillo and Matt Ritchie the wing-backs alongside Isaac Hayden and Sean Longstaff in midfield, and it's Salomon Rondon up front supported by Ayoze Perez and Miguel Almiron, their club record signing.
Russ, I think most West Ham fans, well, virtually all of them, will cheer to see Manuel Lanzini starting again after his really bad knee injury during the summer while on duty for Argentina. And he's come back at just the right time, really, for West Ham as they try and just seal this potential top 10 place.
Do you know what I love about him? He's a trier more than anything. He's somebody who just never gives up. He's this kind of energizer bunny, isn't he, screaming around the field. And whether or not he can do that as yet, we'll wait and see. Interestingly, he's not been kind of played 2/3, 3/4 fit through the under-23s and eased back. They've waited with that severity of the knee injury until he was fully fit, fully ready, and then given him, 10-15 minutes against Fulham, 45 minutes against Man City, and then got him ready for action now, as you say, at a critical time. West Ham only 5 points from their last 18 available, not great. Newcastle 13 points from their last 18. Form-wise, you'd say the tune as the away team, headed as the favourites in that regard.
Well, West Ham should have a little bit of bounce because they were very good against Manchester City, very well organised, and then, as we know, the penalty. Newcastle, again, I mean, they're in good form at the moment, but they remain such a frustrating side, don't they?
They do, but I like the balance of this team that Rafa's now got together. The three at the back, for me, works. They're three good ball players. They can score a goal, and I think they complement each other well. Even though Dubravka's had the odd rickety moment, he's still a strong keeper that commands his box, and I think makes those in front of him play pretty securely. I tell you who's really surprised me. I've never been a massive Isaac Hayden fan, to be honest. He's done a job alongside the youngster Sean Longstaff. They love an academy product coming through and playing well. He scored in midweek, and then up front suddenly you put Almiron as a new record signing in there, bit of fizz and firepower on top of Perez and Rondon, who's refound his form. That for me is a very nicely balanced and well assembled team for Rafa, and that's not always been the case over the course of the season.
Yeah, we look forward to a good game. Russ, always good to speak to you. Thanks very much. Join Russ Hargreaves and Mark Bircham for full coverage from London Stadium. West Ham United against Newcastle. That's coming up right after we finished here from the Vitality Stadium in just a little bit over 25 minutes time. That's when it kicks off, 5:30 UK time. The 3 o'clock kickoffs had a bit of drama about them and quite a few goals as well. Not too many at the Vitality Stadium, just one. It was enough for Manchester City to return to the top of the table. But let's recap on all this afternoon's action now.
To Jota, Jimenez, opening chance here, and an opening goal! Diego Jota, 15 minutes inside this first half, and Wolves have opened the scoring here at Molineux.
Burnley penalty, and now Zaha goes for a bit of a race and he strikes it, goes across goal, and it's in the back of the net. It's an own goal from Phil Bardsley. It's an absolute disaster for Burnley, who've made the much better start.
And Wolves in possession through Jimenez, he's got ball, he's got to go himself. There's another chance here, for 2-0 possibly. Jimenez! Raul Jimenez, 2-0 to Wolves. And Cardiff are now all at sea.
Playing it across to Valery. Chance for Valery to shoot here from the edge of the box, which he does, and it flies into the net. And Valery thumps Southampton into the lead at Old Trafford. A brilliant goal from him. 25 yards out, pointed the penalty area, unleashed a thunderbolt of a shot with his right foot.
Heading towards the penalty area, he's got Wan-Bissaka on the right hand side. His ball into the box, finds Batshuayi, and what a fantastic strike from Michy Batshuayi.
Bordallo gets a good touch on it, looks to link up with Lukaku. Now he offloads it to Andreas Pereira. Loads of space left side for Shaw. Pereira came infield instead and bent a beautiful goal into the corner. No chance for Angus Gunn that time.
Zinchenko 1-2 with David Silva, tries to give it back to the Spaniard. He takes it down on his chest, stab forward here to Bernardo Silva, laid off to Mahrez! Riyad Mahrez fires Manchester City in front on 55 minutes. Huge sighs of relief on the Manchester City bench.
Pogba works it out left side for Shaw. Shaw infield trying to find Andreas Pereira. Did well. Now here's Lukaku inside the penalty area, and Lukaku finds the bottom corner, and Manchester United have the lead for the first time in the game.
And they're headed away before it reaches Zaha. Kouyaté, though, keeps the ball alive here for Crystal Palace. Plays it short to Zaha. Zaha now trying to trick his way to get a shot away as well. Puts it back onto his left foot. Wilfred Zaha smashes it in. And with 15 minutes to go, Crystal Palace are wrapping up all 3 points here at Turf Moor.
Here he comes, James Ward-Prowse over the wall. Oh, what a goal! A brilliant free kick from James Ward-Prowse, and Southampton are back level.
Really good delivery from Lockhart. Here's the ball into the back of the net, and Antone has scored for Brighton. There is the breakthrough. Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Huddersfield Town 0. A goal 11 minutes from time from Florian Antone.
Crystal Palace penalty area. Westwood's ball in, and it's in the back of the net. There'll be no clean sheet for Crystal Palace.
Shaw back for Fred again. First time touch, trying to find Lukaku. He's broken his way, and Lukaku's bent it into the bottom corner for what may well prove to be the winning goal. It's cruel on Southampton, but it's a brilliant finish from Lukaku.
We'll start our roundup before this afternoon's action with the early game at Wembley, a cracking North London derby between Tottenham and Arsenal. It finished 1-1 and John Anderson was there.
Tottenham Hotspur 1, Arsenal 1, a full-blooded, frenetic and hugely entertaining derby ends with honours even, albeit in controversial circumstances. Aaron Ramsey gave Arsenal a 15th minute lead, running through and rounding Hugo Lloris, but only a wonder save by Bernd Leno to deny Moussa Sissoko kept the Gunners ahead at half-time. 14 minutes from the end, Shkodran Mustafi pushed Harry Kane, who was clearly offside, in the box. Nonetheless, the penalty was given, and Kane duly obliged. More penalty drama followed, with Davinson Sanchez harshly adjudged to have pushed Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, but the Arsenal top scorer saw his spot kick saved by Lloris. There was still time for Gunners substitute Lucas Torreira to be sent off for a foul on Danny Rose in the final act of an extraordinary match. Tottenham 1, Arsenal 1.
Tottenham stay third, 10 points behind leaders Manchester City. Arsenal dropped to fifth now, out of the top four. They've been replaced by Manchester United, who beat Southampton in a cracking game at Old Trafford. It was topsy-turvy stuff, and it was watched by Matt Davis-Adams.
Manchester United back into the top four in the Premier League after a thrilling 3-2 victory against Southampton at Old Trafford. They came from behind to get it. Jan Valery's first ever goal in senior football, putting Southampton ahead on 26 minutes. They took that lead into the break, but shortly after the restart, Andreas Pereira, with his first Premier League goal, made it 1-1. He then teed up Lukaku to put United ahead just before the hour, but James Ward-Prowse hit a brilliant free kick on 75 to level things up. Lukaku, though, got what proved to be the winning goal with 2 minutes of normal time remaining. There was even time for Paul Pogba to have a late penalty saved by Angus Gunn. Southampton unlucky, they played well, but they were beaten. It finished 3-2 to United.
Yeah, United 58 points from 29 games in for Southampton. Still in the mix to go down, just 2 points clear of Cardiff in 17th place now, the Saints. Cardiff lost at Wolves by 2-0. Watched by Johnny Bryan.
Cardiff started like a lion but finished like a lamb at Molineux as a Wolves counter-attacking masterclass sent Cardiff to their third successive defeat. Goals from Diego Jota 15 minutes in, followed by a Raul Jimenez goal 4 minutes later, have given Wolves their best ever points return in a Premier League season. The scoreline flattered Cardiff, who without Neil Etheridge in